weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
I'm attorney Bryan Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Meteorologist Anthony Baglione here, tracking a relatively quiet forecast up until we get into this late afternoon and evening between about 4 to 8 p.m. We could see a line of some storms coming through with some gusty winds and potentially a brief isolated tornado. Otherwise, high temperatures today right in the low 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 25 points to 42,240.
Here comes Aho on a break. Shoots, he scores! It's dropped back here for Aho. He scores! He shot through and they'll score. On the power play, Kachuk. Chance for the Panthers. Bennett out in front, they'll score! Marchand throws it out in front, and Lundell will score. Bounce it now, it comes out in front. Holding, shoot, he scores! Seth Jarvis with the turnover! We'll skate it behind the net. Watched by Orlov. Barkov out in front. Verhaeghe shoots and scores!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
With Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. Today is a dramatic day for the Carolina Hurricanes. Exit interview day, pack up your locker day, walk away from the facility and not know if your friends are going to be there when you get back.
Not even sure if you're going to be back.
Unless you have a full no movement clause, in which case you pretend to be not sure, but you are sure. The offseason starts today. The offseason for the Carolina Hurricanes starts today. You actually, today's dramatic for a different reason. It's not the offseason starts today, it's next season starts today. Right? You have to, as a team, figure out what roles are open, what roles are filled by guys you want to bring back, what roles do you need. It's all about next season already. Do you have the alert set up on like Facebook or social media or something that shows you on this day, 10 years ago you posted this? Do you have any that come around every year? This just popped into my head. That come around every year that you're like, you cringe every time you see it?
Well, thankfully, I got logged out of my Facebook about 6 months ago and haven't seen it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
My sophomore year as a backup, this is me in college at University of Delaware. My sophomore year, we lost in the national championship game, okay? The next day, so this was in January, the day after our game was my birthday, right? So my plan was, we're going to win the national championship. Next day, birthday, national. Woo! Didn't end up happening. We don't have to go into the details of how we lost. But we lost, and on my birthday every year, Facebook reminds me of a post from right that day. And, I mean, it's the most dramatic thing on the planet, right? A super competitive 20-year-old who just lost in the national championship game should not have been allowed to put anything on social media. But the dramatic post, and I forget the exact words because I see it every year and I immediately scroll. Thank the seniors for how hard they worked, and the lesson that I Facebook status that we learned from that team, from those seniors, was that next season starts today. This was on the plane flying back from Frisco, Texas, where the game was played. Next season starts today. Guess what I did that day? I landed and I drove to my dorm. I did nothing for the next season, but it's just dramatic, right? It feels closure. It feels opening. It's song lyrics, subtweets. It's dramatic. Next season starts today, And the Canes have an added deal. The added deal is they know Eric Tulsky is fearless. Their general manager, he is not afraid to make a splash. He is not afraid to trade guys. He is not afraid to make some moves. So even if you're not a free agent, right, you don't have to be Orlov, Burns, Robinson, right? You don't have to be these guys whose contract is up to sit around and go, I might not be back. Because you have a GM who traded for Mikko Rantanen and then traded away Mikko Rantanen in his first year as the GM. So if anybody is safe, I don't know. Right? Speaking of that Mikko situation, we're going to be mixing in throughout today's show audio from their exit interviews today, right? The players were all made available to the media. Adam Gold, Dennis represented the station, and they were down there grabbing info. And Adam got to sit down with Sebastian Aho. Now, for just a little bit of background, Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen are both Finnish. Okay, they're both from Finland. They played on the Four Nations Cup team together. So when Mikko Rantanen showed up, there was a lot of talk about that, right? Guys that had played juniors together and everything being on the same NHL team. Aho was with Adam Gold and was asked how the Mikko situation impacted everyone. This is what Aho had to say.
Yeah, it was stressful. It was tiring. Obviously, I was, for sure affected me and Mikko's play too in a way that there's so much uncertainty, and it's easy to say, okay, you don't think about this stuff, but it's a big deal, it's big deal for him, big deal for myself, like organization, fans, everything, it wasn't the easiest situation, obviously, for us, and obviously I was I was with him. I was really, we talk about it so much, and we, went over certain stuff, and obviously stuff that, it's gonna keep, it's gonna stay between us. But it was quite a kind of stressful and tiring month, at least.
Stressful and tiring month. That's what I'm talking about when you have a GM that's making splash moves. Right? You got to be prepared for anything. They might bring in one of your childhood friends and send them out 6 weeks later. Aho, more with Adam here. Sebastian was asked why he wanted things to work out with Mikko so much.
Type of player he is, caliber player he is, good friend of mine, right. So obviously you try to do whatever. And we talk about it too with him, because I feel like even you don't think about it on the ice, but maybe you look back at the tape after the game and you're like okay, I shouldn't even try to force that pass,
Right.
So
yeah.
maybe
I agree.
So it does affect in a way that you have to just play the game and let things happen instead of forcing plays and try to find your guy, but yeah, I guess that's another learning curve for myself and probably a lot of people who was involved with the situation.
That's a really, really good hindsight conversation with Aho there.
And he's very honest, very open about it.
And when you hear him talking about, lessons learned for everybody. And what I mean by that is the decision makers when it comes to roster building, you have to find the players that don't have to be forced, right? The ones that fit, the ones that show up and it feels natural, and being able to predict that isn't always the easiest thing. But that's what this offseason is about, right? If you're Eric Tulsky, the GM, and you bring in Mikko and very obviously doesn't fit, and even, Sebastian Aho as a center has to be one of the most fits with everybody players you can have. He's like, I'll do the dirty work. You can score the goals. What winger isn't going to be like, I like skating with that guy? Yet it still was forced. Then you bring in somebody like Logan Stankoven or Taylor Hall in that same move, and it's significantly easier, right? I'm not saying they're the caliber of player of Mikko or anything like that. What I'm saying is there was no forcing necessary because it just happened, and that's another level of roster construction. And that's why today is so dramatic. And that's why today is such a bow or a finish or a, I don't know music, crescendo? No, finale of last season and a beginning for next season. Like, you have to be evaluating everything. Right? There's a bunch of exit interviews. You'll hear from Chatfield on our show. You'll hear from Stankoven on our show. We talked to Walker. We talked to Aho. Everybody spoke at the podium. Like, there's a lot of information. And guess who's listening? Eric Tulsky or whoever is the decision makers. How badly do you want to be a Carolina Hurricane? I'll tell you this, Brent Burns sounded like somebody that didn't want to go anywhere. He's an unrestricted free agent. Sounded like somebody that wanted to keep playing. Sounded like somebody that wanted to keep playing here. Somebody like Dmitry Orlov, another unrestricted free agent. They asked him about his. He's not sure, right? His answer, obviously, second language and everything, so it's a little different. But he was a little bit more, we'll see. Everybody, what you say, who you say it to, how you say it, it's being evaluated because as great as this season was, and I think it was a positive one for the Canes, we've talked about it. Made to the Eastern Conference Finals in what I consider a retooling year. It's a high standard. The Eastern Conference Finals did show you that changes are necessary. Right? If you want to battle with the Florida Panthers, if you want to beat the Florida Panthers, if you want to hoist the cup, there are levels that still need to be climbed. I think changes are going to happen, and everything's part of it. And that's why today is so dramatic. What was it, 3 years ago? Let me think. Yep. 3 exit interview days ago, darn near everybody was coming back, and they knew it. What was it? It was Orlov was new, and there was one other one. I forget who. Michael Bunting, right?
Michael Bunting was one of the signings,
didn't even make it a season. They had two new guys coming back that next year. And everybody else, it was a sophomore going on summer vacation. See you for junior year. This year, it feels like there's seniors leaving, right? It's oh, see ya. It's not gonna be the same without you. Bye. This year, there's changes coming, and that's why today was I'm jokingly saying it's dramatic, right? They're highly paid professional athletes. You don't actually feel bad for them, but there's some closure happening today. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You know who I don't feel bad for at all? Whoever makes the ACC basketball schedule, because I've given it a couple days to cool down, and I'm still pretty mad. Stick around. That's coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
In a league dripping with tradition, the NHL's hottest coach right now, Paul Maurice, refuses to shake the hands of players because he wasn't on the ice. Come on, dude. Show them just a little teeny bit of respect. Imagine if you had seen 2 youth coaches not shaking hands. Parents would come out of the stands.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
NASCAR on Prime lights up Music City.
Here we go, Nashville. See what you got here.
Who's got what it takes to tackle the concrete at Nashville Superspeedway and walk away with NASCAR's coolest trophy?
Let's freaking go!
Stream the NASCAR Cup Series at Nashville Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where music meets motorsports.
Chase me up. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Only on Prime.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. And at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand your concerns when it comes to buying an engagement ring. Am I paying too much? Am I getting a quality diamond? Will she love the ring? Rest assured, we prioritize your happiness as much as the exquisite diamonds we offer. That's why we provide unparalleled guarantees to give you peace of mind. First of all, we offer an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee. Secondly, with our unique 100-day price protection, we promise you'll get the best price, quality, and value. But if you find a better offer, we'll match it and give you 10% of the difference. But we don't stop there. We also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. It's our way of giving you confidence throughout all of your cherished moments. We've been locally owned since 1948 and voted the best jeweler year after year. At Bailey's, we're not just selling jewelry. We're providing a legacy of trust. We invite you to shop with us and experience the difference.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay is my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Ugh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Taylor going to drive hard against Cadeau. His shot blocked by Jalen Washington. Into the hands. Washington has it. That's it.
Wow.
The horn sounds. Jalen Washington with a double-double and the game-sealing block.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do want to rant and rave about the ACC basketball schedule, but Dennis, I had this in my notes to ask you during that first segment about exit interviews.
Okay.
You were there.
Yeah.
Atmosphere. When you walk in, is it like walking into kids that had just been yelled at? Is it like walking into a end of the year pizza party? Is like can you describe just the feeling?
They did the interviews a little bit different than last year. So they actually had two players generally at a time, because last year everything was just single player.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit different vibe and setup from last year. So it's kind of hard if I'm trying to give a comparison to last season. But you can tell that guys, it was still weighing on them. It's like, you know what, like.
Are you talking this year or last year?
This year. You can tell on some guys' faces, it was like, you know what, missed opportunity.
Fresh wound style.
Yeah, it was still fresh. You can tell a missed opportunity, kind of and this thing still stings, which is okay. That's fine. Like,
More than okay. It'd be weird if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I think the last game of a series that ends your season oftentimes is like that was a missed opportunity game. I don't think you look at the loss, like the series loss, and go, "Oh, we were right there." But game 5, you were, right? So that's the one that the regret probably stems from.
Yeah, I think it's that. It's also because game 3, the first 2 periods, they played well. Like, could have had something there. Game 5, could have had something there. Game 1, could have had something there. So that stuff just kind of, you replay all that stuff through your head, and you can tell a lot of guys were definitely like, hey, you know what, missed opportunity. As much as we fought to get to that point, still a missed opportunity.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now we can finally. This news broke 2 days ago.
We were at Lenovo.
So, yeah, for Game 5.
Yeah.
The ACC, I'll give you the details, right? And I'm 2 days this has been percolating. I've been seeing if I'm going to simmer down on it, because sometimes that happens, right? You get upset, you give it some time. It's not that bad. The ACC changed their men's basketball schedule format. They used to have multiple teams that they played every single year, home and away. Each team had multiple, right? So if you had 2, 3 rivals, that was taken care of. With the addition of the Stanford Cal SMU, they want more non-conference games. They've limited it down to just 18 conference games. And the structure, we were told weeks ago, was there will be one primary rival for each team. That team you will play twice, home and away, every year. Then there will be what I called a secondary rival. The secondary rival,
they called it variable partner, I think is what they used.
And primary partner and variable partner was their term. I chose rival, and you'll hear why in a second. The variable partner is another team on any given year that you will play twice, but variable, it could change, right? It's not each year, it's not guaranteed to be the same team year over year. I took this as they were going to rotate the teams that didn't have two rivals so they would get a variety. And if you had two obvious rivals, they would protect those games nearly all the time. And of course, because we're here in the Triangle, my first on the display, right? The thing that pops up onto my front porch is a team like UNC or a team like NC State, because there's no way that they weren't going to have Duke and UNC as the primary option, right? Those two are going to play home and away every year because it's way too valuable for money. Then there's UNC, Carolina, and State. And I thought, okay, well, that will be their variable partner every year, and it'll only be variable in name because actually UNC is going to play Duke and State home and away every year. Turns out not the case. The actual schedules came out. That's all just format talk. The actual schedules came out, and UNC is not playing NC State twice. NC State's playing Virginia twice. UNC's playing Syracuse twice. And they're not playing each other twice. This is the first time in over 100 years. This is the first time in over a century that State won't be visiting UNC during the regular season men's basketball schedule. The Dean Dome will not be hosting NC State for the first time since it was built, which, by the way, my grandfather laid the concrete. Literally built the foundation of the Dean Dome when he was down here working for Carolina Steel. Since then, I think it was like 1919 was the first time those two rivals played men's basketball. UNC hosted, and every year since then, State has made the long trip across the Triangle to face the Tar Heels, and it's not happening. I don't understand. Actually, I do understand. The ACC doesn't know what they're doing here. That's what the part I understand. They don't understand how badly they're messing this up. They're forgetting the secret ingredient of college sports, which is emotion. Do you know what the difference between professional sports and college sports is? Because the difference is they're limited now, right? It used to be players got paid. No, now they both get paid. It used to be the corporate presence. Well, now you need corporate presence on both sides, right? The stadiums are all going to be named after sponsors, and it's all of that is going to be the same. Do you know what the difference is? It's the emotion. It's the emotion. It's the rivalry. It's the playing for your colors. It's the singing the alma mater. It's the fact that students and alumni can say we when talking about the team. You don't get rid of rivalry games because it bubbles to the surface all of that secret ingredient I just mentioned. You don't get rid of rivalry games. You build them up. You don't put a new schedule format in place where now every other year you get to host one of your rivals. You put it on a pedestal. You change the rules so that every team has like a random Tuesday where no one else in the league plays and they host a rival. You don't bury them, you showcase them. What does ESPN want? What does your media partner want? Trust me. Well played. But trust me, as they try to make dollars, they're not clamoring for more State-Virginia games. They're not. They probably are clamoring for more State at UNC games. They make a whole rivalry week out of rivalry games, right? Give them more of what they want. It's confusing because here's the thing. There's also in the format, I failed to mention this, there's going to be one team a year that will rotate that each team won't play, right? So this year I think State's not playing Cal. Next year they might not play the Georgia Tech. We're just whatever, right? There's going to be a different team one every year that you don't play.
Like, sorry, you don't have to go to SMU.
Fine.
Yeah.
How about this? This is going to be crazy, okay? 2 random teams you don't play. Whoa.
What?
Whoa. I mean, I also need to clarify, right? I said if you think on things that you'll go better, because my first solution to this was play them in non-conference, right? My first solution to this was the ACC is not going to schedule you. Well, get together and do the anytime, anywhere thing, right? Meet me in the parking lot 3:15 after school. Like if they're not going to let us do it, we'll do it ourselves. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm pivoting there and I'm changing based on further thought because it's too important to keep your non-conference win percentage high as a conference to sign up for a guaranteed 50%. Right? If State and Carolina said the league isn't doing it, we will play, meaning State is saying this, we will play at your place. If you agree to playing at our place in the non-conference, the next time we're not variable partners, you can't do it because it's too bad for net ranking to have, a team, the ACC, sign up for an ACC team losing, which when you play each other, that's 100%, right? Somebody will lose. You need to be up well over 80, 90%, right? You need to be near 90% win percentage in the non-conference as a conference. So it's awful. It's awful. And I feel bad for the students. And I'm not talking players, but I am feeling bad for them. I feel bad for the students. The most raucous environment are the rivalry games, and you might not get one. You might not get one. Imagine that 10 years from now, right? In a cubicle in downtown Charlotte. A UNC fan, a UNC alum, right, grinding their way up the corporate ladder, and someone goes, "Oh, you went to UNC? No way. How were they against State when you played?" Because they're a State fan, right? Because they're a State grad. Well, my freshman year, they did pretty well. And then I only saw them play one other time because they didn't come my sophomore or senior year because we weren't variable partners. So I only remember when they visited my junior year. It's like, what? No, but I do remember that classic game where they beat Pitt for the second time that year at home. It was a real fun one. They won by 19. No, they're not going to remember that.
I know Wake Forest this upcoming year only has NC State coming to them. They have to come play all 3 teams out here in the Triangle, and the only team that's going out there is NC State.
And that's because they're a protected partner. So
yeah,
they're the primary partners. So State and Wake will play home and away every year. So they're literally everything that is a possibility, everything that is like a non-guarantee. They're going on the road to the Triangle. State's not going west of Dallas because they play Stanford in Raleigh, and then they don't play Cal. And they play at SMU, so that's the furthest they go. Like, the schedule makes so little sense. So little sense. Protect the rivalries. Protect the rivalries. I feel like we need like a Braveheart speech. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up, and coaches need to pay attention. If you're going to be coaching, and I don't care if you are coaching a youth league, we'll give you a prime example of what not to do coming up in a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. The All-American third-round men's singles match in Paris is going well for Francis Tiafoe. He's got a 2-set lead on Seb Cordo, whose father was once ranked second in the world. His sister, Nelly, number 1 on the LPGA Tour. Tiafoe seeded 15th, just behind fellow Americans Tommy Paul and Ben Shelton. They're seeded 12th and 13th. They both won today. Shelton in straight sets, Paul in 5 sets. That's also he won in the second round. Paul's now reached the 4th round in all of the 4 most recent Grand Slams. 8th-seeded Lorenzo Musetti won in 4 sets. Holger Rune seeded 10th, won in 5 sets. He was down 2 sets to 1. Defending champ Carlos Alcaraz playing now. He just won his opening set 6-1. Women's straight set wins for 4-time French champ Iga Swiatek, top seed Arina Sabalenka, 4th-seeded Jasmine Paolini, and Elena Rybakina, who's seeded 12th. All advanced. John Stanshauer, Westwood One Sports.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
You got your hands
Luke Bryan. Country Song Came On Tour. Saturday, June 7th, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh. Luke Bryan. With special guests George Burge, Ashlyn Kraft, Adrian Nunez, and DJ Rock. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series, presented by Live Nation.
Burns is shot out in front. Oh, scores on the power play. Carolina has even this game at 1. A huge power play goal right when they needed it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're gonna get to a little Dean's List here in a second. One thing I love just about sports fans in general is how we are nothing if not a group of let me put this lightly, and I'm including myself in this category, uncultured swine walking around an art gallery. Right, we can all be looking at the same. We can all watch the same thing and walk away with a billion different opinions. Right, we're not getting what the artist wanted us to at all. I think that is obviously the relationship between the sun and the water cycle. They're like, actually, that is a picture of my mother. That's what the artist says. Anyway, like we all watched the same season, right? We all watched the same hockey. We all watched the same playoff run. We all watched the same Eastern Conference Finals. Today on my Twitter, I put out a question. It was real simple. I thought it was real simple. might be the better way to put it. I just wanted to play a little stay or go, right? And we'll do this throughout the offseason. But the stay or go was simple, right? Look at the the unrestricted free agents. Are they going to be back or not? It's Roslovic, it's Robinson, it's Burns, it's Orlov. And a bonus question, I threw Kokiniemi in there. Is he traded? Is he bought out? Does he return? Right? I don't know what that could be. And just seeing the responses. Some people as simple as just sent back, gone, back, or gone, back. They just that. So many different responses. And the reason why I say we all watch the same hockey, somebody I'll give the shout out to the actual Twitter handle here. Adam at Real Adam Ross. Go, and go. Right? They just want different. Right? There are fans out there that are just absolutely, after watching that Eastern Conference Finals, if you aren't handcuffed to the organization, if you don't have a no move, get gone. We need something new. Then there are those that are I actually just came in at GDiz79 says, I will support Brent Burns on his Ironman streak. It's impressive and great for the team. If he wants to come back and be a part of the third pair, we have that veteran presence who can soak minutes if needed. There's Brent Burns on some positive wants to come back vibes from the fan base. Robinson is apparently somebody a lot of people would like to have come back. We can all watch the same hockey. And by the way, those aren't the most difficult guys on the roster to predict what's going to happen. I think for the most part, we kind of know, yet the disagreements are there. It's going to be a fun offseason is what I'm saying, because there is no right answer. If you told me Brent Burns coming back was the best thing, I'd go, all right, why? If you told me Brent Burns the best thing he could do is get gone, I would say, okay, why? You're not right or wrong in your answer, only in your justification and your explanation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll come back to the Canes a few times. Get it? A whole bunch before the end of the show. Right now, though, it is time for the Dean's List. Classes in session. First one here, Dennis, and I'm gonna test you here. This is not meant to embarrass you. I'll tell you I would fail this test. The Dean's List starts with Faison Zaki, or Zaki. I could be pronouncing both of his first and last name wrong. He is the Scripps National Spelling Bee champion.
Yay!
I never understood remember this was always on ESPN.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's not a sport, but it was on ESPN, so we're counting it.
Spelling Bee.
Zaki was the runner-up last year. You ready for this? Lost in a lightning round without ever misspelling a word by conventional spelling round. And he claims that he did not practice for the tiebreaker, the lightning round, because he wasn't expecting to get there. Are you ready to try the winning word?
Oh, okay.
Éclaircissement.
Éclaircissement?
And if you want to ask some questions,
can you use that in a sentence?
I have the official sentence here for you. But either her courage failed or some other sentiment impeded her seeking an éclaircissement and eliminating her confusion.
Origin?
French. Would you like the definition?
Yeah.
Clarification or explanation.
Yeah, I would like a clarification and explanation on what this word is.
Éclaircissement.
Let's see. If it's French, EU.
Nope.
No, that's not going to be
Ding.
EU. No. I say EU gives you an O sound. I'm going to say EC.
You'll hear a ding when you're wrong.
M-A-I-R.
You put an M. You put an M in there.
Was it éclaircissement?
Éclaircissement.
Oh, éclair. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm done. I quit. I'm out.
The appropriate spelling. Éclaircissement.
See, I would have been on that.
Éclaircissement. All right, that's enough of that. Dean's List, Gannon Jones.
Okay.
Cardinal Gibbons, high school quarterback.
Yeah.
5 feet 11 inches tall. Committed to Wake Forest.
Let's go.
That's a Power 5 commitment, and you're by the way, stats bananas is like 59 touchdowns, 7 interceptions or something the last couple of years.
That's pretty good.
But I know there are coaches out there, quarterbacks coaches, that'll just say, nope, not 5'11". But he made it. Shout out to Gannon Jones. First, and the next thing, Gannon Jones is a quarterback name? That's like Colt McCoy or Gunnar Keel. Gannon Jones, that is a quarterback name right there. Print the T-shirts. Gannon with the cannon. Jones. Do you have a Dean's List member you'd like to throw on here?
I have 2.
Let's hear them.
CJ Kirst, your winner of the Tewaaraton, which is the award in men's lacrosse. Also, there's a Tewaaraton for women's lacrosse, but the men's lacrosse recipient of the Tewaaraton Award, and college lacrosse equivalent of a Heisman Trophy or a Wooden Award. But CJ Kirst won it on the men's side, but he's out of Cornell. But on the women's side, Chloe Humphrey, North Carolina, freshman.
Yikes.
North Carolina freshman women's lacrosse wins the Tewaaraton. She had 118 points this year on 90 goals and 28 assists, part of that undefeated national championship team. First ever freshman to win the Tewaaraton in college lacrosse.
No pressure, but you got to do it 3 more times. Goodness gracious. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So, yeah, shout out to Chloe Humphrey.
And that's true freshman, right? Not redshirt
True
freshman?
True
Goodness
freshman.
gracious. While most of college athletes out there are trying not to put on the freshman 15 the wrong way, you're trying to get used to living away from home, you're trying to get used to the speed of the game, she's like, I'll casually be the best player in the country.
Yep. On the national championship team.
The undefeated national championship squad.
So, yeah, shout out Chloe.
Chloe.
Massive. That's awesome.
And also, you want to know what might be the most impressive part? I believe there's a freshman on UNC lacrosse who is the head coach's daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm maybe making stereotypes here, but usually the coach's kids get all the first, like, if you've been in like Little League, the coach's kids gets all the first opportunities, and you're still the best player in the country. That's pretty good. I don't know anything about the politics of UNC women's lacrosse, so I don't know if maybe the coach's daughter had it the hardest. I don't want to ruffle those feathers. I have one more for you here. The 5+11 model for the CFP.
Okay.
There's a proposal out there. 5 conference champions all make it. 11 at-large bids. No auto bids. It is the 11 best non-conference champions get in and seeded straight up for a 16-team playoff. Everybody would be betting on themselves. The SEC would say, all right, fine, we don't need to have our 5 auto bids, but if we have all 11 of the best at-large teams, we want all 11. I kind of respect it. The ACC would be standing on business, right? Like, all right, if we're going to get more than one, we got to go be one of the 11 best at-large. Here's the one thing I will say. The one thing that I think would need to happen, and I think this should happen anyway. I think it should happen for the NCAA basketball tournament as well. The selection committee needs to be, I would say, 5 or 7 people. So you got the odd for tiebreakers, right? When you're voting, you need to not be even. It needs to be what I call their full-time job in sports. I would like it to be their full-time job, but if you don't think you could draw enough people with the money you'd pay, they can't have any other job in sports. They can't be a ref. They can't be AD. They can't be on the Orange Bowl committee. Like, it is your job in sports is selection committee, and that's just for objectivity, right? I don't want people betting on themselves and then somehow getting to decide who wins. I bet on myself and I won because I got to choose the winner. Look at that.
Based off that format, that 5+11, there would have been 6 SEC schools, 4 Big Ten schools, 3 ACC schools, the Independent with Notre Dame, Boise State out of the Mountain West, and Arizona State Big 12.
And that was this past year?
Yeah, based off this. If they expanded it to 16, that's what it would have been.
And if you want more than that, you'd have to win more than that. You have to be better than that in those committee rankings. I just think you need kind of objective committees. And I think that should happen for college basketball as well. There should be people whose only job is to rank teams. And all year, they just crisscross the country watching games in person, and on their off days, they're watching film. But what do I know? $1 billion thing can afford 5 salaries, right? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is kind of Dean's List, so we'll do this for like a little extra credit.
Okay.
College Baseball World Series is going on.
That's right, it is.
College baseball, as we speak, the College Baseball World Series is going on. We'll update you on some of the action here. UNC beating Holy Cross 4-0. It is the top of the 9th.
That game's done.
That game is done. All right.
Done.
Hold on. Let me refresh my screen here. Yeah. That game is done.
Yeah, Jake Knapp went 8 1/3 pitching for UNC.
So good.
Awesome. Save for bullpen.
That's all year. That's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
I know near the end of the regular season there was still a handful of games to be played. He was leading the country in starting wins as wins as a starting pitcher. That's not like winning the ACC or like he was the country. East Carolina kind of jumped all over Florida. They were ahead 11-2 at one point in time. Ended up winning 11-6, and that's like Florida, like the Gators. 15 hits for ECU. 15 hits, 11 runs. They were aided by 2 errors by Florida. But that's a great start for ECU. Was the 6th seed in the AAC tournament.
Yeah.
They're beating an SEC team, and everybody told me every baseball team in the SEC is the Monstars mixed with like the Angels in the outfield. They're just all unbelievable. No, says ECU, at least not Florida on today. Has the state game started? I saw on social media that they were taking off the tarp.
I know that. I think the game got pushed to 4. I know there were some delays and stuff. I don't think they've actually gotten away. I know Miami and Alabama just got started in the region down there in Alabama. Hattiesburg.
According to ESPN, 4:15 is now the start time for Stetson at NC State.
Okay.
Or at Auburn against NC State, who was the higher seed. And Wake Forest, they're making a game of it. Bottom 7 against Cincinnati. They got, Cincinnati jumped all over Wake.
Mm-hmm.
It's 11-6 now, though. So 5-run game with some opportunities left. 11-6 Cincinnati over Wake. And the Duke game, is that one started? Is that what you said? No, that's at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, Duke's later on this evening.
All right, what were you just updating? I just want to make sure we've covered everything.
Oh, that Miami just got underway. Talk about ACC schools. Miami and Alabama just got underway.
All right.
Florida State's also up 2-0 on Bethune-Cookman as
right.
well. So taking a look again around ACC schools.
All right. Louisville, 7-2 over East Tennessee State.
Let's go.
I think that's all the ACC action that's going on right now. Let's go ACC. Again, I don't like – in case you couldn't tell from my earlier conversation, I don't like when people just assume the SEC is better at everything. So go prove me right and prove everybody else wrong. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I teased a few minutes ago that if you coach anything, if you coach youth sports, if you coach high school sports, if you coach digital sports, if you coach anything, buckle up because you're about to learn what not to do. Pete DeBoer, head coach of the Dallas Stars, was eliminated. The Stars were eliminated yesterday by the Edmonton Oilers. Regardless of how or when you lose, when your season is over, they're not going to change the outcome. I want that to be clear. No matter what you say in the post-game podium, they're not going to go, oh, okay, yeah, all right, let's go ahead, let's run it back. I didn't realize that happened. So the reason I say that is you don't have to willingly put your foot in your mouth, right? There's no prize for getting the most clicks on your quotes and stories the next day. There's the thing you need to worry about are the guys in your locker room. Pete DeBoer, for the those of you that weren't watching the Western Conference Finals last night, he pulled Jake Ottinger, their goalie, after facing 2 shots. Saw 2 shots, gave up 2 goals, and in a really weird, like the execution of pulling him was strange.
Mm-hmm.
That in and of itself, it's a coaching decision, right? Ottinger is a really good goalie, and he was a massive part of them getting to where they've gotten. And it's not like Dallas is lit up scoring the puck. And right, it's this was not a situation where Ottinger was giving up 4 goals a game and they were scoring 5. This was like he was earning wins for them throughout the postseason.
And these were defensive breakdowns in front of him on those 2 goals. And you mentioned the lack of goal scoring for Dallas. They have scored in the last 7 postseason games, 2 goals or less in 5 of those 7. So it's not like he's gotten a lot of help.
So all of that, right, there's some of the context, but it boils down to, go ahead.
I would say you mentioned how he was pulled out. DeBoer called a timeout. Ottinger's over there at the bench during the timeout, and he's skating back towards the net, and then all of a sudden Pete DeBoer yells out, no, you get back over here. Casey DeSmith, get off the bench, you go in. So there was well, wait a second. There's some theatrics, for lack of a better term, that went with it.
So I say all that. That's the context. Still, coach can pull the goalie, right? That's a decision. They were in an elimination situation, and he did it. It was after the game when the media asked him about it that I really went, that doesn't make any sense. Here's DeBoer.
We had talked endlessly in this series about trying to play with the lead, and obviously we were in a 2-0 hole right away. And you know what, I didn't take that lightly, and I didn't blame it all on Jake, but the reality is if you go back to last year's playoffs, he's lost 6 of 7 games to Edmonton, and we gave up 2 shots on 2 goals in an elimination game. So, it was partly to spark our team and wake them up, and partly, knowing that, status quo had not been working, and that's a pretty big sample size.
Yowzers! How's that tire tread, that bus tire tread taste, Jake Ottinger? Have someone face 2 shots with defensive breakdowns in front of him, and then in the post game say you used a large sample size in a decision to pull him is ridiculous, because the large sample size that you referenced was true before you put him in net to start the game.
That's the one. If that's the case, why'd you start him?
He can't beat this team. Can't do it. Had to pull him. This was game 5. This is part of the argument. We're going to talk Rod Brind'Amour, obviously. This is part of the argument for Rod Brind'Amour as a guy that gets it. There's nothing that is a coach's responsibility after your season is over other than getting your guys in the right mindset for next season or beyond. Throwing them under the bus just loses you the locker room. What's the saying I scream about leadership? In a loss, you attract blame. In a win, you deflect credit. There's one person that messed up if you're the coach at the podium after your team is eliminated. You. Right? People say there's no I in team. There is after a loss. After a loss, I need to do better. I have to prepare the team. I. After a win, wow, how good was Otter in goal? Nothing you did had anything to do with the exceptional performance by your players. Rod Brind'Amour's been in a locker room. I went and looked it up. DeBoer was drafted in an NHL draft. In the 1988 NHL draft. Never made it to the bigs. Spent most of his time in, I believe, the IHL. Never made it to the NHL. Rod Brind'Amour played the 28th most games in NHL history. And he was higher on that list when he retired because guys like Ovechkin and Burns have passed him since then, and a few other active players. You have to understand a locker room to lead a locker room. I'm not saying you can't do it if you weren't a player, but I am saying you understand it if you were a player. And that's part of what Brent Burns, speaking of guys that have been in the locker room a lot, right? One of the few active players with more games played than Rod Brind'Amour. Brent Burns was asked why Rod Brind'Amour is such a special coach.
Even like mistakes. I just love how he always, like he's, I know you're thinking on this play because he does. He's been through it. It's from somebody that never played, it's very easy sometimes, even on like certain reads or certain plays that you make and say I make a insane rim, which happens, and it's very easy to look at it and say, like, because my son says it to me all the time, Dad, what the heck were you doing? And I'm like, well, buddy, I think the same thing 300 times when you're playing, because it's, you saw something 2 seconds before when you took a look, and then it changes. but same with Gleese. Like Gleese's been through it, so he knows. So from a player standpoint, it's easier to take that criticism because they know what's going on.
Well said by Brent Burns, but to flip that to the DeBoer conversation, Rod knows. And what I mean by that is he's been a guy that made a mistake, or he's been a guy that had a team that seemingly had his number. And he knows that if the coach would have said what DeBoer said at the post-game podium after a lost series, that he would have not appreciated that from the coach and maybe lost respect for the coach. Ottinger, ironically, is a much more kind of professional communicator with the media when he is, so I doubt we'll ever learn. But my guess is when he gets on the phone with someone he trusts driving home from that game, he's saying, yeah, that guy's a jerk. I hope he's not back next year. Why'd he throw me under the bus like that? And Rod, it just would never happen. It just would never. He might err sometimes too much on the optimistic after a loss, but he's not going to have the respect of a locker room, have the respect of a player, lose a game, go to the podium, and by the time he gets into that locker room, that respect will not be disintegrated. You know that. Part of the reason why every time, I'm not saying he's impervious from criticism, Rod, but it's part of the reason why everyone wants to call for his job. I'm like, we can have that conversation if you want to. It's a different conversation than criticizing a decision. We can have that conversation too, but if you want to talk job security, we can have that conversation if you want to.
By the way, not the first time that Pete DeBoer has done something dumb involving a goaltender. Just ask Marc-Andre Fleury in Vegas. See how that went.
This is side note. You know how your phone's always listening? The other day on social media, I was talking about Marc-Andre Fleury for whatever reason, and then I looked down and it was they were giving me a video of him on Pawn Stars. Your phone's what's going on, phone? What are you gonna? Now I'm gonna get nothing but Pete DeBoer press conference clips for the next 24 hours. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next. One of the guests of the Canes at Game 5 is the center of our football at 4 conversation. Tell you who coming up next.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
NASCAR on Prime lights up Music City.
Here we go, Nashville. See what you got here.
Who's got what it takes to tackle the concrete at Nashville Super Speedway and walk away with NASCAR's coolest trophy?
Let's freaking go!
Stream the NASCAR Cup Series at Nashville Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where music meets motorsports.
Chase me up, chase me up.
Only on Prime.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community. From installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Anthony Baglione, tracking a decent forecast up until about 4 to 8 p.m. for many of us this afternoon and evening. That's when we see potentially a line of some stronger storms coming through with some gusty, damaging winds and a brief isolated tornado. Otherwise, high temperatures right around 81 this afternoon.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 25 points to 42,241.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. And the irony is, at Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals at the Lenovo Center, the subject of our football at 4 was having himself a heck of a time. Xavier Legette, about to be a second-year wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, has been everywhere this offseason. He was at the Kentucky Derby. He was in the schedule release video. He was at Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The surprising, if you saw the mic'd up video that went a little viral today, he was up against the glass, and let's just say I don't think he had been that close to a hockey game because, the puck hitting the glass scared him. He was laughing. His hat was falling off his head. He has been everywhere. Star, I guess you could say. He's got a star quality. Is he ready to be a star on the field and production as well? What is that guy's role? Right? What are you when you're a late first-round pick that underwhelms as a rookie, maybe injuries playing a part, that underwhelms as a rookie, and then they use a high first-round pick on your same position? Right? Because Xavier Legette, what was he, the last pick of the first round 2 drafts ago? This year, Teteroa McMillan, 8th overall pick, also to the same team, the Carolina Panthers out of Arizona. What's his role? It could be confusing, by the way. Wide receiver is not one of those positions that you can't have multiple studs. So it's not like Josh Rosen being picked 10th and then the next year Kyler Murray being picked number 1, right? Because quarterbacks, it's like, oh, your spot was just taken. Wide receiver, you can be friends with your competitors, right? It's not a one person town.
And the nice thing is about like that position is that you could play the same position, be listed the same spot, but you play the game 2 different ways. Like that position is built to have multiple different styles, I guess you could say.
And you can see it across the league. There's Jamar Chase, there's T. Higgins, there's Tyreek Hill, there's Jalen Waddle, there's Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, right? These are all on the same teams across the league. But you got to find the fit, right? If you're doing the same thing, it's not going to work, right? If you are doing or there's not space for both of you or whatever, if you both want to make the same catches, that's not going to work. So what's the role for Xavier Legette? Because obviously someone is comfortable trying to make this guy a star, so they better be able to back it up on the field. I have 2 examples of my dream role for Xavier Legette this year, with the acknowledgement that there is going to be a fairly gigantic role for McMillan. Okay, so when you draft somebody 8th overall, usually it's not like, oh, we drafted somebody 8th so we can mold him into fitting our system. When you draft somebody 8th overall as a wide receiver, a lot of times it's we're going to put him at the wide receiver group and mold everybody else to get the most out of him because that's a super high pick for a wide receiver. So with the acknowledgement that McMillan is going to have a role and it's going to be fairly large, I think Xavier Legette's ideal role is Brian Thomas Jr. last year for the Jags. Or 2 years ago, Nico Collins' role from Houston. And I'll give you the kind of genesis of this. Last year, Brian Thomas Jr. was third in the NFL in receiving yards. I think sometimes a good season with the Jacksonville Jaguars is like a tree in the woods. You don't know if it happened because there was no one there to watch it. Brian Thomas Jr. was third in the NFL in receiving yards. But here's my favorite part about it. He was 16th in receptions. He was 16th in targets. Right? So he was hunting big plays. They were hunting big plays with him. Nico Collins 2 years ago in Houston. Last year he battled injuries and with Tank Dell's injury and their offensive line stunk. There was a bunch of stuff going on there. But 2 years ago in Houston, he was 8th in receiving yards. Nico Collins was 8th in the NFL. He was 23rd in receptions. He was 30th in targets. 30th in targets, 8th in receiving yards. That's what I want for Xavier Legette. I don't want him running whip routes. I don't want him running 3-yard fake ends, breaking out to the sideline on 2nd and 2 to make a catch and get out of bounds with a gain of 4 so you can keep the chains moving. Let Hunter Renfrow do that. Renfrow made a living off of that when he was in the league a couple years ago with the Raiders. I don't need him winning jump balls. I don't need him making contested catches. Talk about Xavier Legette. I actually think McMillan would not want anyone else taking those opportunities. He's like, I'm 6'4 plus and I jump like a volleyball player. If we're throwing a jump ball, it better be to me. But you know what Legette has that nobody else in that wide receiver room has? A sub-4 440 time. Nobody else in that wide receiver room can go like he can go when it's just picking them up and putting them down. I don't think this is a guy that needs to get 10 catches a game to be effective. I think he's somebody that needs to get 4 catches a game, and one of them is going to be a game changer. That's where he fits in, and that's why it makes sense to bring in somebody like McMillan. Because I think McMillan does need volume, right? He's a strider. He's open even when he's not open. If you need 10 third downs in a game converted, he can give you 6 of them by himself. That's McMillan's role. Legette's going, I don't know if I'm going to give you 6 first down or third downs, but there's going to be a couple play actions that I can give you 60 yards on one play. And that is more and more and more becoming what the NFL is about. And especially if Dave Canales is running the offense he wants to run. And what I mean by that is building things around the running game. Building things around. There's only so many targets to go around when you're handing it to your running back a whole bunch of times in each game, which you hope will happen more and more as the team develops because you'll be ahead in some games. So you don't have to throw your way back into it so darn often. And by the way, that role I just described for Xavier Legette, it does turn you into a star. People like big plays, right? What do they say? Fans dig the long ball. It's baseball saying, but it's also true in an offense. If you're like, I don't know, every time Xavier Legette catches it, it's for 25 yards. Like that's going to endear him to the crowd.
I want to see Xavier Legette this season. I think having that procedure on his foot, he got a screw placed in his foot. He talked about his body's feeling better. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, that speed, that ability to have yards after the catch, the playmaking ability. Like, hey, you know what? I could take an 8-yard crossing route over the middle of the field, and I can catch and turn up the field. I'm just physically bigger and faster than the defensive back that's trying to chase me. Mm-hmm. And I can turn that 8-yard crossing route, and like you said, a 25-yard gain, or maybe make it into a 30, 40-yard gain. Take it to the house, get a big play touchdown. Like we saw him in the red zone last year get some touchdowns, which was good to see. But yeah, I want to see the yards after the catch, and I think, like we talked about at the beginning, is that McMillan and Legette play the same position, but they play it in different ways, and those two ways have to complement each other this year so much.
And actually, a perfect example, those goal line touchdowns that he scored last year were good to see, because you like to see your guys just, scoring touchdowns.
Sure.
I do think those specific are reps that the first read in those plays will be McMillan this year, right? His skill set lends itself towards red zone. Like if Legette's going to score touchdowns, they might have to come from outside the red zone this year at a much higher rate, and that's what he promised. Like that's the prospect he was. And then next offseason he can come back and we can teach him more about hockey, right? Then he's even bigger. He's an even bigger star when the Canes are in the postseason next year and he's in the building to watch, and he's now everybody wants his autograph. By the way, I did check. He was down up against the glass. We were up in the media. I did look down a few times. He was signing the autographs that he was doing the fan thing, which was good. Happy to see it. Making new fans. Dennis is talking a lot, and his microphone is not on.
No, it's not
There
on.
you
It is
go.
now. I say it looked like he was having a heck of a time.
Yeah,
it really was. If Bleacher Report had it, I know the Canes posted it on their social media today as well, but just go watch the clip. I think the most fun part was when William Carrier for the Carolina Hurricanes cross-checked Eetu Luostarinen and is basically wrapped his stick around Luostarinen because Carrier's stick just shattered when he cross-checked him. That was right in front of Legette, and Legette was already bugging out over something that just happened, and then that took place right in front of him. Just the reaction was it was priceless. It was wonderful.
It is. He's really likable.
He really is.
It's just some people have it, right? They walk into the room and everyone's just rooting for you. Everybody just wants them to win. Speaking of, you want to win? I can tell you how. Text keyword Luke, L-U-K-E, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan, George Burge, Ashlyn Kraft, Adrian Nunez, and DJ Rock at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 7th. If you want a chance to see Luke Bryan, all you have to do is text keyword Luke to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets. The concert is June 7th, Coastal Credit Union Music Park. We have a ladder challenge coming up. We have end-of-season Canes grades, and you can hear from Logan Stankoven of the Canes earlier today at his exit interviews. All of that and more coming up. Don't go anywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
At the beginning of the season, if I had told Hurricanes fans that your year would end in the conference finals, you would have jumped through fire to make that happen. That's what we thought at the beginning of the year, that they're not going to be as good. As it turned out, even through all of the things that happened over the course of this season, through Martin Necas's touching of the sun and then being traded, it still ended up in a good spot.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. The lack of success for Americans in men's tennis has been well documented. Andy Roddick's U.S. Open victory in 2003, still the last U.S. Slam title, but 3 Americans off to the 4th round in Paris, and if qualifier Ethan Quinn wins tomorrow, that's a 4th. Last time there were 3, the salad days of 1995. Andre Agassi, Jim Courier, and Michael Chang. 3rd round victories today for Tommy Paul, Ben Shelton, and Francis Tiafoe. Also, Carlos Alcaraz is cruising up 2 sets. As for American women, Coco Gauff, Jess Pegula, Madison Keys all playing tomorrow. Today, a 3rd round win for New Jersey native Amanda Anisimova. She was a French Open semifinalist 6 years ago at the age of 18. Bernarda Pera, who moved to New Jersey at age 16 from Croatia, playing now. She lost the first set to Elena Svitolina. With this tennis update, John Stanshauer, Westwood One Sports.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really worked so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Support for The Fan comes from Paramount Pictures presenting Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
Every choice, every mission has led to this. Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in his most challenging mission yet.
I need you to trust me one last time.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. See the movie audiences are raving about in theaters and IMAX now. Don't miss your chance to see the movie of the summer.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Burns is shot out in front. Oh, scores on the power play. Carolina has even this game at 1. A huge power play goal right when they needed it.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I needed this song, Dennis. I needed this positive vibes.
Yeah, why is that?
Because Tyrese Halliburton stunk.
That's funny.
Did you win last night in the ladder challenge?
I did. I needed over 3.5 goals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. I had that about 12 minutes into the game.
I don't know why I got away from it. I don't know why, but I should have gone McDavid, 2 or more shots on goal. For some reason, I was automatic. It was automatic, and I didn't go with it. I went with Tyrese Halliburton, 2 or more threes, because he's a killer, because it's a closeout game opportunity, because he had a chance to do something special. The Athletic put out a headline of the game. I'm going to read you the headline.
Oh, okay.
Of the Pacers-Knicks from last night. This is the headline on The Athletic. Game 5 takeaways. The Jalen Brunson show and Halliburton a no-show. He had no threes. He finished with 8 points, and his team got smoked. He's a killer, all right. Just took game off, did that Tyrese Halliburton. I'm back to $10. So you have the lead. Go ahead and lead off. This has been undoubtedly the worst month we've ever had in a ladder challenges. We've just alternated, passing it back and forth, being terrible.
Yeah, we both kind of stink this month. So anything over the weekend, correct?
Anything over the weekend.
Okay, so I'm going to go with this weekend. I generally don't bet NBA.
We are getting to the point where there's not going to be a lot of else to bet on.
No, there really isn't.
I'm going to Major League Baseball soon.
I'm going to go Game 6 tomorrow between the Knicks and the Pacers. Game 6 tomorrow, Knicks-Pacers. The total goals scored.
Okay.
I'm sorry, total goals
scored. Wait a second here.
Total points scored. See, I'm still on hockey mode here. Total points scored between the Knicks and the Pacers in Game 6 over 198.5. So basically, they got to combine for 199 points. So if its final score is 199, I'm in. It's a minus 960 is the bet.
I mean, to get that high, the Knicks are going to have to get a couple power play goals.
Yeah, I know. But hey, I don't know. Put Ottinger in that. Maybe that's the trick there. I don't know. According to Pete DeBoer, that's the case. So my 1137, it's a minus 960. So my 1137 will turn into 1255, and that will give me a victory once again this month.
Mine is, I'm going back to the well. Tyrese Halliburton, 15 or more points.
Okay.
I feel like he's going to bounce back. It's minus 500, so it takes my $10 all the way up to 12. I'm buying the dip, kind of. Everybody's down on him because he no-showed. I know all about. But yeah, give me Halliburton 15 or more points. 15 or more. But that's actually going against it because now if he has 15 or more, that's working towards Dennis's. Never mind.
Hey, he can score 900. That's fine.
Exactly. I'll win, but you will also win. So I need him to score 15 and the game to be low. It's not looking good.
What you need him to do is just lock it down on defense.
Exactly. Score 15, allow 10 to everybody on the Knicks.
There you go.
Put Jake Ottinger in net. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. End of the season. Season's over. Exit interviews have happened for the Carolina Hurricanes. They are on their way to their probably vacations, maybe home countries. Maybe they're, I don't know, going to be picking up the kids from school today because they have more free time.
Yeah, some stick around for the summertime.
I assume they go on a vacation a little bit before they circle back and stick around. Unless, again, they have kids or something, and then, you got to work around their schedules too. Either way, time for end-of-season grades. Dennis, tell me send in the players, send in the newsmakers, whoever you want, and we will give them their end-of-season grades. We'll talk it out and explain our reasons why.
All right, let's start with an easy one. Jacob Slavin.
Yet
really nothing to explain there?
Valedictorian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right then. The smart kids that used to go to office hours by choice and they became like friends with their teachers. That's Slavin, right? He's doing the homework. He's tutoring kids. He's doing the whole deal. A. All
right, let's actually go to the next one here. Let's go Pyotr Kochetkov. Someone actually we didn't get a chance to talk to today, but Pyotr Kochetkov in net this season. Started, was about 47 games this year. Really did the bulk of the work in net.
I mean, this is like, it's first of all a fantastic question, because if you're taking the average, I think it's like a B, right? But in actuality, I don't think on any project or any test or any like week of work he had a B. It was an A or a C. You know what I mean? Either he was cranking, he was taking a huge amount of the workload and putting it on his plate and handling it when Freddie was out. And then when Freddie came back and they were doing the 1-1 alternate thing, it was cranking there for a while. It was going really well. Then the wheels fell off and he didn't turn in assignments for a couple of weeks, and that brought down his. So I'm going B with the acknowledgement that it's an average of a handful of A's and a handful of C's, no actual B's on the report card.
Yeah, started 47 games this year, 27 wins, 16 losses, had 3 overtime losses. Goals against was a 2.6. His save percentage was an 8.98. So nothing great.
It's not unbelievable, but he was for a while. He was put into some really, I mean, at one point his backup was Spencer Martin, and then it was Tokarski. There was a Yaniv Peretz in there.
Yeah.
They're really, he was playing without a net for a long time. So when other goalies may have gotten a chance, when struggling started happening to, reset, he really didn't have that luxury very often. So maybe a B-, but I'm not going C for him, even though I know some would.
All right, next one here. Let's go right to the top. Andrei Svechnikov. 72 games this season played, 20 goals, 28 assists. He was a -8 on the year. Playoff statistics overall were better than his regular season averages, but 15 games, 8 goals, 4 assists, +4 in the postseason.
Sometimes, and I'm not talking sports metaphor here, I'm talking about as an actual student. Sometimes I was this student where you knew there was a big project at the end of the semester. And you're just as long as I kind of stay normal for most of the year, I'll put a lot of work into the end of year project, and then I'll be fine. I think that was Svetch, right? He, the end of the year PowerPoint presentation, he really put some work into it because he was really good for especially the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, right? He scored a bunch of goals. He was way more aggressive. He took way more shots. He saved a B at points in time. He may have gotten down to hey, if you don't do well on this upcoming project, we're gonna have to get a parent-teacher conference set up. And then he buckled down for just long enough to avoid that. No, don't call my parents. Don't call my parents. Give me a week. Turned in, found a bunch of homework assignments. The regular season, and I'm just calling a spade. There was some rough patches for Svetch. And the conversation we were having were about, top-end speed and where's the aggression and why isn't he shooting? And moving him around lines. Who does he play well with? And you shouldn't be doing that for a guy that's been around as long as he has and has been a major part of the team as long as he has. But then the postseason happened, and, kind of right out the gate, there was that early hat trick. There were some very clutch goals scored. He capitalized off some momentum. Martinook on one end, knocking Tom Wilson on his behind. Fetch scoring almost immediately down on the other end. It was a very, very good final exam for him. And then up and down in the Eastern Conference Finals, but let's not act like the whole team wasn't. So, he saved a B. For 9/10 of the year, he was fighting for his GPA, and then, he got a 97 or something on the final project, and it boosted it. The teacher almost reluctantly gives him a B.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have more potential than this, as you showed on your final exam, but here's your B. That's my Svetch.
Yeah, I was thinking a B minus C plus.
Yeah, I mean, the smart money was on a C all year. And he may have even flirted with a D. And then I worked his way up to a B because he scored, as many goals as anyone not named Mikko Rantanen pretty much in the first 2 rounds of the postseason.
All right, let's go. Seth Jarvis played 73 games this season, missed 9 due to his shoulder injury. 32 goals, 35 assists, plus 12 on the year as well. So led the team in goals, was second on the team in points.
I think I'm going A minus.
Okay.
And the minus comes from a little quieter in the postseason than I would have liked.
He had 16 points in 15 games this postseason. He had 6 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah, but they were quiet.
That was plus 2.
They were quiet. I want it loud. I obviously remember the little flip. Sometimes this might not be the best way to judge. Sometimes it is how many do I remember, right? It seems like every point Svetch scored, every goal Aho scored, changed the game. I remember the game 5 tying goal, game 3, the little flip. I remember an empty netter where everybody came over to celebrate with him. There wasn't many loud goals from Jarvis. And by the way, I don't know if this played into it, but it's been said enough that it's in my brain. It's the whole Inception thing. Don't think about a purple elephant. Everybody's thinking about a purple elephant because I said it. I'm not sure how much his shoulder is impacting things. I don't know. I didn't watch very often and think ooh, he looks like he's playing hurt. But people have talked about his shoulder enough now that I can't help but think about it. So there's I don't know. There's something there. So A minus. I mean, he took another step up. He's 22, 23 years old.
23.
Multiple 30-goal years already. He's very, very good. I almost feel bad, not giving him the A, but I'm going A minus.
All right, let's go Sebastian Aho. 79 games played this year, 29 goals, 45 assists, plus 7 on the year. Had 5 power play goals and 3 shorties as well. In the postseason, 15 games, 7 goals, 8 assists, so a point per game, plus 3 rating in the postseason as well.
I'm going A minus. I'm going A minus, and the minus is a motivational tactic.
Okay.
Right? I'm the teacher that knows there's something special in this pupil, right? And despite your good test scores, I want to see more. So I'm putting the minus there with the acknowledgement that there's another level to his abilities. Because, yeah, I mean, you can read the stats. The dude, he's a good hockey player. And you do remember the goals scored. The 2 in the double overtime series clincher against the Devils. The 2 in game 5, which ended up being the season ender. Even against the Devils, the game they lost, right? He comes up with multiple points in the third period to tie it 2-2 and force overtime, which didn't end up going their way. There's a lot of good to talk of, and I just think there's more. So I'm giving him the A minus and telling him you're gonna have to do something real special if you want the A or A plus from me. This is a motivational tactic. I'm like Morgan Freeman and Lean On. What is it? Lean On Me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I am. Walking around, I'm chaining the doors shut. I'm motivational tactics. Morgan Freeman was a principal walking around with a baseball bat in that movie.
All right, let's go. Jackson Blake, 80 games this season, so he missed 2 at the end of the year because Rob Brind'Amour giving him some rest, but played 80 games this year, 17 goals, 17 assists, also plus 10 on the year. Then postseason, he had 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists this postseason in all 15 games.
B+. B+, and the regular season was better than that. He's 21, I think.
Yeah, he's young.
I mean, he's a freshman taking AP classes. B+ is pretty impressive. How far he's come. Let's think about this for a second, shall we? At the beginning of the year, the way I was hoping their roster was executed, like the way that they executed the minutes and dispersed them, I had one spot reserved for a rookie. I didn't know which rookie that was going to be, right? There was kind of 3 fighting for it, kind of in common consensus, which was Jackson Blake, Bradley Nadeau, and Felix Unger-Sorum. Those were the 3 and a few others that would toss their name in every now and then. But I was going like, I don't care who it is, I just want a rookie. Right? Felt like they needed youth. One of the rookies, you guys, you're the talent evaluators, you're the front office, you tell me which one, but I want a spot for a rookie. And Jackson Blake ended up being on the opening day roster and was a big part of the team throughout he was skating top line minutes for a good amount there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was Aho, Jarvis, Blake on the first line. As a rookie, he was really good against the boards. There were a few games where in the postseason when things get ratcheted up where it felt like, he was in the deep end and he caught a cramp, right? It was just like, no, a little in over my head here. But other than that, I think he showed a lot. I think he's a part of the core. And you think more highly of him as an NHL player now than he did at the beginning of the year, giving him a B+.
All right, couple more. Jalen Chatfield. Missed 3 games in the regular season, played 79 this year. Most of it was rest of the late in the season. 7 goals, 11 assists, plus 22 on the season. Actually was the highest on the team in plus minus.
I mean, do we hold injury? Like, is an injury a incorrect answer in our little academic?
I don't know. You're the one giving the grades.
I'm working with it's an A. It's an A minus. Somehow he got hurt and our opinion of him rose because we saw how his defensive pairing played when he wasn't there. I think he is and I've said this before, and I don't want to, become a broken record. He's very good, and they need him to be very good, and he's cost efficient. And I love the 3 years over $3 million each year for a 3-year contract. I think he is a vital part of the future of the Canes. I think they felt his absence in a major way over the 6 games he missed at the end of the year. And I think during the regular season, he was doing a lot of work that we won't ever know because of who he was paired with. And I think as you build your defenseman next year, I think you keep that in mind. Right? If you are bringing in a defenseman to pair with him, you understand, go get some offensive prowess, right? Go get somebody that'll help you on the power play. Go get somebody that'll do those sorts of things, because even if they're a little, not much, but a little lacking as a defender, you can pair him with Chatfield and he'll cover a lot of that up. The issue was he was covering a lot up for Orlov, and maybe you weren't getting all of that offensive help from Orlov. Yeah, I'm a fan of Chatty.
All right, final one here. Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Kotkaniemi this season for the Canes finished with, in 78 games, played 12 goals, 21 assists, so 33 points, was a +9, and this postseason he had 1 assist.
You know what?
I take that back. I'm sorry, 4 assists. My apologies. He had 1 assist last year, but factored in for 4 helpers in 14 games this postseason.
I mean, see me after class. We've got some hard discussions to have.
We sending notes home?
We're sending notes home. D. But with a few positive notes. A few like, hey, you had that stretch where you tried really hard, and I know you came in for office hours and you tried to get the tutoring you needed. Like there wasn't. I don't want to pile on Jesperi Kotkaniemi in the way that everything he did this season was awful. He was not the opposite of King Midas. It was not everything he touches turned to trash. It was not that. but there were some high-profile mistakes when the spotlight was on him that are going to be hard to forget. I still think there's potential there. I think more so than a lot of fans. And I think he plays a position of need. And if you're going to trade him, I think there might be a market. I don't know how bustling that market will be, but if you want to trade him, I think there are teams around the league that are saying, get him out of the Canes system or whatever, and we can fix him. I think the same thing's, by the way, going on with somebody like Kyle Pitts in the NFL right now. Apparently everybody's calling the Falcons trying to get him because, you know, he was a high pick. He had a bunch of physical ability, and he hasn't produced, and he got ugly at times, and everyone else saying, I can fix you. I think there's a bit of that with Kotkaniemi as well. But, yeah, D. As my teaching colleague, Dennis, anything you agree or disagree with?
I don't disagree, really, overall. I mean, talking about Kotkaniemi, there was an 8-game stretch from mid-January to late January where, again, an 8-game stretch, he had 5 goals and 3 assists, so he had 8 points over that stretch, and he was a +4 player. Like, okay, like, you averaged point per game during that stretch, but then it was just a stretch. And in a weird way, I think that happens with students too. It's like, man, I thought you were putting it all together at the mid-November or whatever it was, and by the end of the semester, it had gone back to where you were. But I know it's in there. It's tough for Kotkaniemi. It's tough. And on a team that I think just needs to shake things up, change of scenery might be good for both. We'll talk about it. Speaking of talking about it, speaking of the end of the season, exit interviews took place earlier today. Our very own Dennis Cox, who you just heard from, caught up with Logan Stankoven, the trade deadline acquisition from the Dallas Stars, who put together, I think it was tied for the second most goals scored by a rookie in a Canes postseason, in a single Canes postseason in history. Here's Logan Stankoven with Dennis earlier today.
All right, Logan, I don't know if you realize this. Canes fans really have taken to you. They really have embraced you. Have you noticed that in the time you've been here, the fans really embracing you as part of this team?
Yeah, I have. It's definitely noticeable, and it's a great feeling, but it's hopefully continue to get better and better. And I'm only 22, so just keep developing, and that's the main thing. So, yeah, it is nice to have that support, though. It's definitely a great feeling to have as a player.
How have you embraced this, not just the team, but the city? Because it's one thing for a fan base to buy in, but for a player to buy in as well. How have, in a short period of time, been able to just quickly embrace this area?
Yeah, I like I know it is a bigger city, but not quite as big as Dallas, but it feels more like a smaller city vibes, I feel, and I like how everyone is really welcoming and supportive, and it's so cool how you're showing up to games beforehand and they're out there tailgating, and people are kind of they're all in and excited for what we have going on here, and it's great to see the building packed every night. It's a fun crowd to play in front of.
I know you and I talked when you first arrived here about, hey, did you know anybody? So you kind of skated maybe a little bit with, was it Blake or Jarvis a little bit in the offseason, a little bit, but who really took you under the wing when you first arrived here? I know the group, we always hear about everyone embraces the new guy that comes in, but who really took you under their wing when you first arrived?
Yeah, I'd say KK and Jarvie. Fishy as well, but I'd say those were the guys that have kind of really connected with me and made me feel at home. Going out for meals and whatnot, and both here and on the road, and just including me and stuff. Got out for a round of golf with a few of those guys, so it's fun to it's an icebreaker, right? That's what it's about. It's just getting to know each other and getting comfortable with each other, and hopefully down the road be together as a group, and you create some great friendships.
Is there any place around Raleigh that you really like, okay, I got to go back to this place again, whether it's a golf course, restaurant, whatever it might be?
There's a few spots. In terms of golf, I went out to, I think it's Old Chatham. Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? I'm not sure exactly, right. But that was a beautiful course. Jarvie, and I went with Jarvie, KK, and Freddie for a round of golf a while back there before playoffs started. But that was beautiful. Got out to a Teddy Swims concert at the Red Amphitheater or Red Hat?
Red Hat,
yeah. So That was an awesome venue. Those were just, a few of the things that I got out to, and pretty cool place. So,
I guess reason why I'm asking these is because a lot of people really don't know who these players are. They obviously see what you do on the ice, but there's obviously the person that's underneath the jersey. How difficult is it when you're traded in the middle of the season to just have that opportunity, just like, okay, like, how do I even get to the rink? Like, where's there to eat? I don't even know where to go. You maybe been here once as a visiting player, but that's really about it. It does take a little bit of time to adapt.
Yeah, it does. It is nice when you do have people within the organization. Our team services people help us out and get that all figured out. For most part, they do a really good job. So, like you said, finding places to eat were tough at first, and living out of a hotel for a while there. But it's been great here, and I know the area pretty well now. So, yeah.
All right, let's actually go to the on-the-ice part of things. Scoring goals in the postseason, it's not an easy thing to do because space, it's tighter. Guys are on top of you quicker. Those gaps are so tight. How have you been able to, playing in 2 conference finals now, been able to say, hey, you know what, I don't change my game, but also this moment's not too big for me, even as a rookie?
Yeah, I think just past experiences, getting to play in some really big hockey games. I've been able to play in a couple World Junior Championships and Memorial Cup, and you get used to kind of having a lot of eyes on you. And when you look at things, it's not really a winning and a losing. It's more of a winning and a learning, I think. You can't be afraid to make mistakes on the biggest stage. You kind of got to go all in sometimes, and I think that's just kind of my mindset going into a lot of those games is you just got to be comfortable out there, play your game. I'd rather be over-aggressive than not aggressive enough. So I think that's just kind of my mindset.
I think you're going into the final year of your entry-level contract. Have you had any conversations with the team about extension or anything along those lines yet?
Not yet, but obviously I'd love to be here for a long time. And no talks yet, but hopefully that's something that can start to figure out down the road here.
Once again, that was earlier today during exit interviews. Dennis caught up with Logan Stankoven. Logan sounds like he's pretty comfortable in Raleigh.
Yeah, he definitely got that vibe for sure. He and I talked a little bit more after the interview was over, and he really does like it here, and he really just liked the fact that everything you need is here in Raleigh. There's nothing that you're going to want for. It's obviously not as big as Dallas, but that's perfectly okay.
I mean, he hit the right golf course. Went to a pretty nice one there.
Yeah, I know. Let's say, okay. I'm like, Chatham. All right, well done.
What? How do you call it? It's okay. Yeah, sure. You know what you're talking about. I think one of the interesting questions of the offseason is how hard do you try to re-sign him before next year?
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked him that question. If those conversations have taken place,
how often or how hard do you try to re-sign Nikishin before next year? A couple of guys that are young, presumed to be part of the core, but their contract situation is not nearly as locked in as a Jarvis or some of these other guys that are similar age, but locked in for a much farther time with their time in Raleigh and time in Carolina. Stankoven, though, I mean, he's been here half a season. As much as you can be beloved by a fan base and everybody's pretty sure of you, pretty confident, he is. Like, it's happened that quickly. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have real, certified, authentic, bold predictions coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Rick Springfield's I Want My 80s Tour. Starring Rick Springfield, John Wayne, Wang Chung, and John Cafferty. June 4th at Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. I Want My 80s Tour, brought to you by Beach Bar Rum, presented by Live Nation.
Get it out, Forsling, bounce it, now it comes out in front, holding, shoot, he scores! Seth Jarvis with the turnover, and Carolina has tied it at 3.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Friday here on The Drive. It's Friday everywhere, but it is also a Friday here on The Drive. And every Friday, about this time, we do something we call Real Bold Predictions. Real Bold Predictions is very simple. We call them Real Bold Predictions rather than Bold Predictions because we certify them. We authenticate them. We send them away to get graded and sent back like a sports card. And the reason why we do that is because it frustrates me on other sports media shows, podcasts, radio shows, television, whatever you want to say, where they go bold predictions and then there's no checks that make sure they're bold. Bold prediction. I think Connor McDavid's going to play well in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's what we have. We have the buzzer that is called the not bold enough buzzer, and we have the bell where it is the bold enough bell. Ooh, little like arcade sound there.
It's a little Super Mario Brothers there for you, sir.
So the way it works is I'm going to make what I think is a bold prediction. If the buzzer is played, if the buzzer is sounded, that means I have to make it more bold on the spot until I get the Mario sound. And once you get the Mario sound, you're good. There it is. My first prediction is the NC State Wolfpack will beat Stetson in their college baseball World Series opener. And it's bold for a very specific reason, Dennis.
I just looked at the score.
Yeah. I don't know how. Stetson's up 7-0. It's the first inning.
Yeah. Whoops.
How does that happen?
NC State's already made a pitching change.
I checked to see if it started, and it was 7-0. So, yeah, my bold prediction is I don't know what happened there, but State's going to rectify it, and they're going to come out firing, and they're going to beat Stetson. Goodness gracious. The over-under on the game was 11.5. Got 7 in the first inning by one team. How? What? When? Where? All right, that's the first. We're off to a good start here. Let's go to some Canes offseason predictions, shall we? Andre Svech. By the way, these are bold predictions, right? There aren't the things that they aren't the predictions I would make if I were making, my actual predictions for how the offseason is going. Bold though, it's something that could happen, maybe has a higher chance than some would like to admit, and it's bold. Ready? Andrei Svechnikov traded this offseason. Thank you. Reason being, I think his value might be high right now, based on how he played in the postseason and having watched him like we did as Canes fans all regular season. I'm not sure the value will be higher if you give him another go. And on a team where I do think they need to make a couple big swings, they need to get some big names in here, some difference-making superstar talent. I'm not sure, other than the picks, by the way, they have 4 first-rounders in the next 3 drafts. So, and good mid-round selection, they've got a good haul of picks. Other than that, I'm not sure what they can offer teams. A couple good prospects, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure if there's any headliner pieces they can offer teams in big trades. Svech would be that. And coming off of a postseason where he had 8 or 9 goals scored and did a lot of good things on a national scale, I think his value might be high. So I at least think if somebody calls, you answer the phone, where in years past for Svech, maybe you didn't.
Yeah, and it's 6 first-round picks if you want to go 4 years. 6 first-round picks as well, because you got a first-round pick in 26 and a first-round pick in 28. Actually, it's a first-round pick. Yeah, first-round pick in 28. So they have 6 first-round picks over the next 4 years. If you want to get a top center, you have to part with a good player to do it.
A good current NHL player.
Yeah, good
plays now,
player.
not a prospect, not a bag of beans.
Yeah, not hey, here's just a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you just a number 1 or even a number 2 center for just a bunch of picks, because that's a bunch of unknowns. Top centers are hard to find. And if you have an opportunity to go get one, you go get one. Mm-hmm. And if you really want to make a push for a top-end center, you're probably going to have to include, like you said, Andrei Svechnikov. You might have to throw in Kotkaniemi as part of that deal as well. It's not going to be cheap. You're going to have to overpay to get a top-end center, but we've seen in this league, you need to have top-end centers down your lineup.
It might be a combination of a player like Andrei Svechnikov, a player like Scott Morrow, and draft picks. Like a prospect, a current player, and draft picks to get somebody that's going to actively move the needle. We're not talking about bringing in some oh, he's pretty good. Like, if you're going to bring in somebody that's like, we're going to win because of this guy at center, you're going to have to give something up.
I mean, just look at, again, what Mikko Rantanen cost. 2 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks, and Logan Stankoven. And that guy, he's a winger. Yeah. Now, he's a proven player, but that's a winger. Center, much more valuable position.
Thus, my next real bold prediction.
Okay.
50% of the top 2 forward lines are new next season.
You're talking about 3 guys? Yeah.
And not just 3 new guys that are on the top 2 lines.
The top 6,
like dudes. I think you need a second line center. That's 1. I think you need a legit superstar goal scorer, kind of sniper assassin scorer. That's 2. And I think to make those 2 things happen, you probably have to give up a player like Svech. So there's the replacement, like there's another player new, maybe not as flashy there. That's 3, and you might need more than that even, right? I'm not saying new on the top 2 lines, but you're going to need a defenseman like theirs. I think this team is going to look different. I think the core, for the most part, will be back, but this team's going to look different. Let's quickly go to some other predictions here. I think the Thunder sweep whoever makes it out of the East. NBA Finals. Sweep isn't enough? A sweep in the finals?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, thank you. Local ties. Former Duke quarterback Daniel Jones, week 1 starter for the Colts. They do have the 4th overall pick from like 2 drafts.
And have you seen Anthony Richardson throw a football?
He's big, tall, strong, and fast, though.
Yeah, so is Daniel Jones.
Not that big, tall, strong, and fast.
Yeah, well, he also it's weird that Anthony Richardson. It's weird to say Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. So no, that's not a bold prediction.
Week 1 though?
Yeah.
I don't know how to make that bolder. Daniel Jones is the starter both week 1 and week 12. So he holds on to the job at least 2/3 of the 3/4 of the season. Ben Griffin, former UNC golfer, makes the Ryder Cup. You don't even know. You're not a hockey nerd like I am. Dude is on
a hockey nerd like you
or
are?
a golf nerd.
Okay.
Dude is on fire. He is there. Somewhere his like swing coach is going, I don't know, but keep it up. He is tied atop the leaderboard at the Memorial right now. This dude just won the Schwab and got the car. Now he's here leading the Memorial, which is a much better field. I don't know. It's crazy right now. Through 15 today, by the way. He has 7 under. He's tied with Nick Taylor. Nobody else better than 5 under. UNC's having a golf moment. And by the way, in a tie for 3rd is Akshay Bhatia, who I'm fairly confident is a resident of Wake Forest. So, a couple of triangle ties right there in the top 3. Although Scotty Scheffler is in 5th, so he's lurking. One more here. Last one. I wrote this before the action started today. 5 college baseball teams from the state of North Carolina make it at regionals.
Let's see. We have Duke, Wake, Carolina, State, ECU. So all 5?
Yep. This was me being optimistic before the game started.
Yeah.
Wake Forest already lost. State's down 7 in the first inning. So maybe it could have gone better. Maybe could have gone a little better.
Did Wake Forest come back and win? I need to check and see that.
I'm not sure. They were. I thought it was late and they were down.
No, Wake Forest lost 11-6 to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So right now, North Carolina, East Carolina, the only schools that have won so far. Duke has yet to play.
If the state of North Carolina were a college baseball conference, just teams from the state of North Carolina, they'd have the 4th most teams of any conference in the country that are in the bracket.
Let's go.
If you made it to Carolina Conference and you added South Carolina, I know you don't like doing that, but hey, if we did it, they'd be up to 8, and they'd have as many as the Big 12.
Take that, Big 12.
It would be the 5 you mentioned, Clemson, Coastal, and USC Upstate. There's good baseball in this part of the country is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
All right, that's Real Bold Predictions here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We will take a quick break, but when we come back, it's starting 5 time already. Today is flying by. Stick around. It's coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
In a league dripping with tradition, the NHL's hottest coach right now, Paul Maurice, refuses to shake the hands of players because he wasn't on the ice. Come on, dude. Show them just a little teeny bit of respect. Imagine if you had seen 2 youth coaches not shaking hands. Parents would come out of the stands.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
NASCAR on Prime lights up Music City.
Here we go, Nashville. See what you got here.
Who's got what it takes to tackle the concrete at Nashville Superspeedway and walk away with NASCAR's coolest trophy?
Let's freaking go!
Stream the NASCAR Cup Series at Nashville Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where music meets motorsports.
Chase me up, chase me up.
Only on Prime.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, how long will this take?
Just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out. That's super fast. Super fast like an F1 pit stop.
Sir.
Huh?
We're all done. I even topped off your fluid and checked your tires.
But I was so close to the finish line.
Get in and out fast with Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change. And check out the movie F1 starring Brad Pitt, only in theaters June 27th. This film is not yet rated.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRL meteorologist Mike Mays. We have showers and storms in the forecast through the early evening hours, and they could be strong. Overnight clearing and cooler, 57 the low. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe a few more storms coming in from the northwest, the high at 81.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 54 points to 42,270.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. And as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's win the draw. Back. Chatfield, they score! Traffic out front. But Chatfield was ready to let it go. And the Canes jump out to an early lead on a Category 5. It's 1-0 Carolina.
So Jaylen Chatfield scored the first goal of the postseason of the playoffs for the Carolina Hurricanes 3 minutes into Game 1 of their first-round series against the Devils. And he missed the last 6 games of their postseason run with an injury. So he had the full ups and downs and everything that comes with a postseason in the NHL. And he had his exit interviews today with the media, and Dennis Cox, who produces this show, caught up with Jalen Chatfield. Number 5 is that conversation. Enjoy.
How are you feeling? I know a lot of people are wondering why you were out. You mentioned just a moment ago it was a hip issue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how are you feeling? A lot of people are wondering, because you did take some warm ups and we're practicing a little bit. How close were you?
No, I said super close. It was a weird injury. Dealing with that type, especially involving skating and the strain you put on it, and not being able to push off and having the power that you usually have, and the pain was one thing, which anybody can, you get that adrenaline going and you push through. Even when I got my little ovation in warm-ups, I tried to take a couple hard strides and my leg just kind of gave out, and I had no pop, and I honestly would have kind of been I would have been a liability out there. I don't even think I would have been able to finish the game. But I was doing all the right things. I was rehabbing every day. I was, I exhausted all resources to try to put myself in the best position to come back as early as possible. And I was tipping on the top of the mountain to get there, and I was super close. I was in the game, honestly, I think.
I know a lot of people don't realize this, but as an athlete, when you can't go, you don't feel like that feeling of you can't help your team out there on the ice. I don't think a lot of people realize how difficult that is.
Yeah, for me, it's just controlling what you can control. When I first got hurt, I was trying to play Thursday, Game 5 against Washington, and that's how bad I want to be on ice with the guys. It just wasn't realistic, and some injuries you can push through, some you can't, and for me, not being able to play, I had to find a new way to try to support the guys, and first step was doing everything I can to get back healthy, not taking it lightly, not taking many days off, doing as much treatment, much rehab, and then also just being positive and talking to the guys and trying to lift them up when I can, and just being around the guys as much as I can, and just be a resource. If I see anything from up top, talk to guys, and just continue to try to motivate them and give them confidence.
And Jaylen Chatfield joining us. You're talking about other ways that you can help. Is it just doing things like film study with guys and pointing things out, maybe stuff that you see up top?
Yeah, it's anything. Just being in the lounge in Florida, I remember I was talking to Stank, and I was just, pumping his tires up for a real reason, though. He's playing on rail, and just telling him to keep going and let's go. Let's win one game at a time. And just that was the mindset if I seen anybody. Honestly, that opportunity they had out there was it's not that they would ever take it for granted, but when you watch it from up top, it's like that feeling you want to get to play out there. It was hard watching, so I knew the moment they had, and, I wanted them to all just, to go out there and represent our team.
So you and I talked last year when you signed your contract extension with the team about how it's something that you had to grind and earn. Mm-hmm. And now this season, it felt like you showed the value that you were rewarded with that contract, but also you showed it with your play that, hey, you know what, I was worthy of it as well. How do you evaluate this season for you, again, with that contract extension that you got, not only you being rewarded, but rewarding the people that gave that to you?
Yeah, honestly, when I think about even personal performance or anything, how I played, it's just to me, I just want to check the boxes off. Did I come every day and give it my all? And I think that's what's most important. Just not leaving anything in the tank. And I think this year that's what I did. I mean, every year I play. I try to go out there every day. Some days it's hard, it's a long season, but just if I can do everything right, and if I don't play a good game, I heard Tom Brady say that as long as you said you prepared, you did everything that you usually do, your routine, you're not going to have good games every night. And I think throughout the whole year I was locked in, I was focused, and that wasn't just for me, it was for the team, because I didn't want to cheat my guys at all, or the coaching staff or this organization, like you said, for believing in me right from the start when I first came here to, get me caught up, and then my first year, give me the opportunity out of camp to come here and play on a good team. And, for me, from the coaches and everybody, the teammates, just every day, just trying to get better, staying on the ice late, getting in the gym, and just trying to perform at the highest level I can. How
important is that for you guys to have, as a team, a group of guys that everyone is doing the right thing, whether it's preparation? You might not have the best game, but you're preparing the right way, you're honest with your work. How vital is that for the locker room to keep getting these deep postseason runs?
It's huge. I think it's a culture that's built here when you talk about that stuff. You walk into some locker rooms around the league, I guarantee it is different, but when you come here, it's work. It's 1% better. It's doing it for the guy next to you. It's so many things. The C5, you got to live it here. And, we're pushing. I think, for me, it's only been 3 years. For other guys, it's been longer. And I think it's just going to make the story better when we can accomplish the goal. And, it's going to start right now in the offseason. Each guy, I remember Kobe, they asked him what he was going to do. He said, push yourself to exhaustion. So that's my goal. I know it's going to be every other guy's. Is when we keep getting that taste, and it's right there. And I know it's a long ways away, and next year, and it's day by day. And Jordan was talking about earlier, just kind of taking that mental break. But it's also getting ready and geared up for next year.
All right, final thing. What's the next step for you? Obviously, healing up being number one priority. But what's the next step for you in your game?
I got to get better. I can get better. We all can. I'm not going to sit here and say, do this, this, and that. I think it's going to go back, watch some video, come up with a game plan this summer. I'm getting stronger, rehabbing my hip, figured out some stuff that I can do to kind of avoid this, getting my body right, and because I got to avoid that injury. It wasn't a traumatic. It was just skating, and your mechanics might be off this point of the year, but I can't let that happen again. So I was pretty mad about that. So just getting in the gym, getting on the ice, working at my game, and coming back even better.
Once again, that was earlier today at the Canes exit interviews. Dennis Cox interviewing Jalen Chatfield. I'll tell you what I want him to focus on this offseason. I think he's got some potential as a scorer and a playmaker on the offensive end that maybe hasn't been tapped into as much as I think it could. Staying healthy and all of that, obviously, first. Rehabbing first. But he's established himself now in the league as a defensive defenseman. I think there's some potential on the other end. But still, good stuff there from the interviews. Let's go ahead and jump to, that was number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Why the ka-ching?
Because ACC baseball is money.
Okay, all right. I'm with it. College Baseball World Series started today in earnest all across the country. We'll give you some updates on the teams that you care about. North Carolina, ho-hum. Tar Heels earlier today, a little 4-0 win over Holy Cross. It was 4-0 the whole game. It seemed like it started 4-0 and finished 4-0. They were just cruising, which is what you look for.
Couldn't have asked for a better start if you're Carolina.
East Carolina also, ECU. By the time I was paying attention to this one, it was 11-2 over the Florida Gators. They ended up winning 11-6. You spot yourself a 9-run lead early in the game, you're going to feel pretty confident, even if you are up against a team that maybe had a slightly more successful regular season than you. 15 hits for the Pirates. That's going to get it done a lot. Wake Forest lost to Cincinnati. Bruh. Yeah. Both with 10 hits, Cincinnati 11 runs, Wake Forest 6. There were 2 errors by the Demon Deacons. That's unusual for that program. As we keep it rolling, what else are we looking at? As far as games that are finished, that's kind of all of them that you're paying attention to.
NC State still down 7-0 to Stetson.
They were down 7-0 in the first inning. And it's still that way? Is that what you're telling me?
Yep, bottom second, still 7-0 Stetson for all those you wondered.
Social media is telling me that there was a web gem, which is a term we don't use enough, a web gem by Stetson to get out of the first inning. So they're getting it done in the field and at the plate in the first. State might just have to weather that storm and then start chipping away and trying to make their comeback. But 7-0, not the best way to start. Anything else when it comes to College Baseball World Series? Going once, going twice. Let's get on to number 3. We have more details on the college football schedule this year. ACC schedule, kind of the complete schedule's coming out, times, dates, all of those sorts of things. Dennis, which teams are most excited about their schedule when it comes to primetime games and all those things?
So let's stick with local to keep things going here. So North Carolina is opening up their season at home, obviously against TCU. That's a Monday night football game. So that's obviously a big one to start with. But also we saw East Carolina, NC State, that's going to be on the ACC network that Thursday to start the season as well. Wake Forest also has an ACC network game that Friday. But they have the big one to start the season again is North Carolina at home against TCU. That's going to be ESPN. That's something that we've already known about. Yep. And was something that was previously announced. NC State actually does have a few nationally televised games. For example, when Virginia in Week 2 visits NC State, that game's going to be on ESPN2, even though that's actually a non-conference game for Virginia and NC State. So that's going to be a noon kickoff, ESPN2. Either on ESPN or ABC that Saturday, it's Illinois at Duke. So another nationally televised game that's going to be taking place right here in the Triangle. So 2 noon kickoffs that day, either on ESPN, ESPN2, or ABC, going to be right here in the Triangle that day as well. So you're starting to see some of these games, again, on a national standpoint. A Thursday night game, NC State at Wake Forest. That's going to be on ESPN, a Thursday night game as well. Then even later on this season, NC State has a home game against Florida State. When they play Florida State later on in the season, it's going to be a nationally televised Friday game. North Carolina, when they go to Cal at Week 8, is going to be nationally televised on ESPN at 10:30 at night. So, yes, there's a lot of nationally televised games. And also, later on in the season, Duke versus Tulane, when they got to go down to New Orleans, is going to be an ESPN2 nationally broadcast game at 8 o'clock. It's a primetime game on ESPN2. So a lot of primetime games for schools here in the Triangle.
That's a lot of information, first of all.
Yes,
you can go find all of that online. But it is more important than ever. It's not just, it's fun for the players or, everybody across the country. The ACC is going to a payout structure for their league payouts that is disproportionate, right? It's not equal to everybody. And part of the way they decide who gets the most money, television ratings, right? There's brand kind of evaluations and television ratings is part of the equation. So what do you think your average television rating does if you go from, I don't know, noon on the CW on a Saturday versus primetime on ABC on a Thursday or a Saturday, right? Just it doesn't matter if people are tuning in to watch you or not. They're just tuning in to watch whatever game is on ESPN on primetime time, right? And so if you draw those games more often, your ratings are going to go up. You're going to be given more money by the league. And then that money can be spent on players and coaches, and you'll be better because you got more money to spend, and then you'll be better, so you draw more primetime games, so your ratings go up, so you get more money, so you'll be better, so your ratings go, so on and on. And it's a cycle until eventually, I don't know how, but Pittsburgh gets left in the dust. That's how it's going to work. It's just how it's going to work. So you need to be on those primetime games. It's not just, we'd like to because it's a cool experience. It's like, no, we have to, or else we will get left in the dust.
By the way, I didn't realize this, but NC State only leaves the state of North Carolina 3 times this season. They got to go to Notre Dame, they got to go to Pitt, they got to go to Miami, but they're at Duke, they're at Wake Forest. They only got to leave the state of North Carolina 3 times.
And at Notre Dame's a cool road trip. I don't care who you are. Miami, hot. Depends what time of year.
It's November 15th.
Still.
Comfortable.
It's humid all the time down there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly. My parents live in Florida. I get the weather update all the time. It's hot down there a lot of times. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Let's do that hockey.
All right, Dennis. It is Florida Panthers, who eliminated the Carolina Hurricanes, against the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final.
Second straight year.
It is a rematch.
It is a rematch.
Great point. Who are we on? Whose team are we on?
Whose team are we on? Oh, that's tough.
You got you're gonna watch Stanley Cup Finals. You got to pick one.
Sure.
You got to have a dog in the race.
Oh, this is gonna be a tough one.
Horse in the race, whatever the saying is.
It's a tough one because I don't want Canada to have the satisfaction of having a Stanley Cup go back up to north of the border. It's been 30 years. Or over 30 years now. I don't want to give them that satisfaction.
So you're saying Florida?
I might have to. As many rats that are on that team, I still like the way they play hockey.
There's a few things here. One, the Canada thing can't be ignored. And
it cannot be.
USA. The other part of it is this. The more successful the Florida Panthers are, the less people will be critical of the Canes system.
Yeah, they're very similar.
It's I've used this example in the past, but like Jalen Hurts winning a Super Bowl makes it so people are more accepting of like Lamar Jackson's ability to win a Super Bowl because a quote unquote running quarterback has now done it, right? So it's now there's no more it can't be done. So, I'm frustrated by all. I'm sure they are, but I'm frustrated by all the Brind'Amour system is a regular season system, and it gets exposed in the postseason, and it's just like, well, the Panthers do it, and they seem to be doing all right in the postseason. So yeah, I think we're reluctantly Florida Panthers fans in the Stanley Cup Final, and do you believe in like conference loyalty? Like East strength in the East?
I'm not in pro sports, really, no.
My dad, and I've said this before, like he had season tickets to Duke basketball back in the 80s and has tracked their rise, and he's a Duke fan. But he's unusual in this way. Like, his Final Four on his bracket in our family pool every year, if there's 4 ACC teams in the 4 regions, it's an all ACC Final Four. He is like team, then conference, then like he that loyalty transitions. And it doesn't matter if it's one of Duke's rivals. He's like, no, ACC strength. Like, I don't know if that's the way it should be, but it's an interesting way to think about it, where like if you don't make it, you want someone from the Metropolitan to win it. If they don't make it, you want somebody from the Eastern Conference to win it, where you just keep kicking it to the next group. But if you are that way, I guess then that's another reason to be on the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. That's number 2. But actually, no, another reason. I don't even know. This might be a reason for Edmonton. They did eliminate Mikko. Is it like an enemy of your enemy is your friend? Is it that kind of deal? Or does that unite us with Colorado and not Edmonton?
I think that unites us with Colorado. I don't know. I think Pete DeBoer eliminated Mikko Rantanen.
I'm actually surprised DeBoer in his post-game presser wasn't like, and we traded for this guy, did nothing. Nothing I can do. Ottinger stinks. Mikko was useless.
I don't know. He pretty much was useless in that conference final. Last time I checked, the last 7 games Dallas played in the playoffs, they scored 2 or less goals in 5 of those 7.
I'm not saying he wasn't useless. I'm saying the head coach shouldn't say it.
Oh, I know. But that's.
I'm not saying Ottinger played good hockey. He had a rough day. 2 goals, 2 shots. Yeah, it's not great, but still, DeBoer shouldn't have said what he said in the postgame. What was that? Number 2. Let's hit number 1.
The 1! Now a turnover. Here comes Aho on a break. Shoots, he scores! Carolina strikes first. It's 1-0. And the Canes off to an incredibly hot start.
The Canes off-season has begun. It has. Exit interviews today. Players are going about their business. There's probably some vacations. There's probably some returning to home countries. There's probably some things that need to be taken care of, some chores they had been putting off until after the postseason. The Canes off-season has begun, and that really means the front office's season has begun. They have to look at the roster and decide what needs to be fixed. Who's ready for a bigger role? Who needs a new role? Who needs to be taken out of their role? And that's how you get ready for free agency, which is essentially a month from now. Right? The beauty of a long postseason run is you're in it all the way to the end. If there is a negative, it's your offseason's pretty darn short. Underrated benefit, the Canes made it all the way to OTAs for the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. So there's less than 100 days now until NFL football gets started. Like they did shorten our offseason pretty good. Appreciate it, Carolina Hurricanes. One of the interesting parts about how we will see the Canes offseason go is through their actions, we're going to see how confident they are in some of these young guys. Things like, do they find a way to extend Logan Stankoven or Alexander Nikishin if the players and their agents are open to it? These are 2 guys that obviously haven't even played a full season with the Canes. Things like, how aggressive and how much do they spend on a defenseman, or are they going to give Scott Morrow a legitimate chance to prove that he is ready and the postseason wasn't a great representation of his abilities? Things like, do they plan for, I don't know, Bradley Nadeau to be an everyday player who's a prospect at a forward that some people are very excited about? All of that is part of the evaluation, and many, 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 many more questions about young guys are all part of the conversations that are having right now. Jordan Stahl, in his exit interviews, was asked how the young guys are understanding that deep playoff runs might not come around often, because I guess when you've only known Carolina Hurricanes in the last 7 years, you might take it for granted a little bit. Here's Jordan Stahl and the young guy's mindset.
I remember getting that speech when I was 18, 19, going to the finals those couple of years, and you have some old Grizzly guys like me telling you this. You're like, hey, and then coming here and being out of it for 6 years and about ready to lose your mind, and you're not wrong. This stuff doesn't just happen every year. You hope it does, and you work for it every year. But so we got some great young players that are coming up still, and they learn pretty quickly, and they're loving the feeling of playing playoffs. And I think once you get that taste, it's it makes you want it that much more. And I think we obviously have some guys that have been here for a while too, and searching for that first one. So it's all a good recipe for hopefully getting over the hump.
Jordan Stahl is. I get what he's doing there. I think Taylor Hall should be the one passing that message along. Jordan Stahl won a cup when he was 20? 20? Was he even 20? Was he 19?
He was young, I'll tell you that.
It was the one. It was with Pittsburgh, obviously.
Yep.
But it was very young. Taylor Hall's the one who's been in this thing 15 years and just made his first conference finals. If you want to get that message across, you need somebody that's seen it, right?
Look at former Carolina Hurricane Jeff Skinner playing for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Just scored his first career playoff goal yesterday. Granted, it was his second game because he's been scratched for much of the playoffs, but he's never made the playoffs in his whole life.
Some of the stats that are being passed around on social media, and I
NHL career, I should say.
I don't want to miss 1,078 career games. Started his career in 2010 and just scored his first postseason goal. That's pretty impressive. Or I don't know if impressive is the right word. That's pretty
kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It just makes you go, whoa.
It puts things into perspective. Think of a guy like Logan Stankoven, who's a rookie who has scored in both conference finals.
Yeah, that's
a rookie.
That's what I'm saying. Taylor Hall needs to grab that guy and go, this isn't how your entire career is going to go. At least don't bank on it, right? Go work hard as heck if you want it to. Which, by the way, Stankoven seems like he will do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers games contestants, don't we? We have a $25 Sharkies gift card as the prize today. Sharkies with back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. If you want to win the $25 Sharkies gift card, you have to win the numbers game, which means you have to call in. We need 2 contestants. The number to call, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a $25 Sharkies gift card. Numbers game next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why, if you're Giannis, would you sign up for a gap year with the Boston Celtics? Because the Jason Tatum injury is what looms over all of this. Why would you sign up for that if you're Giannis and give up a year in your prime? If I'm Giannis and I'm going to leave Milwaukee, I'm going to a place that gives me a chance to win a title next season.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. Day 6 in Paris, and things were very much going according to form until this last match of the day. Defending champ Carlos Alcaraz was cruising along against Damir Zumar, the 33-year-old from Bosnia. Alcaraz was up 6-1, 6-3, but Zumar just stayed alive by winning the third set. 3-time defending champ for the women, Iga Swiatek won her match 6-2, 7-5. The women's top seed, Aryna Sabalenka, a third straight rout, 2-3. Holger Rune, the men's 10 seed, was in some trouble. Trailed Francis Cantonese 2-1, but Rune rallied to win. The big story, the success of Americans in men's singles. Tommy Paul, a second consecutive 5-set victory. Ben Shelton and Francis Tiafoe both won in straight sets. Tiafoe ousting fellow American Sebastian Corda. 3 Americans in the 4th round of the French Open men's singles. It hadn't happened in 30 years. With this tennis update, I'm John Stashauer, Westwood One Sports.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Want to score points with your boss?
Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You got your hands
Luke Bryan. Country Song Came On Tour. Saturday, June 7th, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh. Luke Bryan. With special guests George Burge, Ashlyn Kraft, Adrian Nunez, and DJ Rock. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series, presented by Live Nation.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Matt in Cary and Casey in Wake Forest on the line because it is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, $25 Sharky's gift card. And as we always do, I will ask both contestants the same question, and Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We will start with Matt and Cary. Matt and Cary, are you there?
Yes.
All right. The question is, what are you most looking forward to about your weekend? Since it's a Friday, looking towards the weekend, but the only caveat is, because we're a sports show, you have to keep it sports related. So, what are you looking forward to sports-wise this weekend?
Knicks and Pacers.
All right, Knicks, Pacers. Dennis, do you need any follow-up? Nope, we're all good there. Matt and Cary, we'll see if that gets you the first spot. Casey in Wake Forest, are you up? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Same question to you. This weekend, what are you most looking forward to? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
Well, I thought it would be Game 6 of the Canes tonight. I guess I'll go with the Memorial Golf Tournament at Jack's Place.
All right, Memorial taking place at Jack's Place with a sad Canes intro.
I know.
Dennis, which one are you going with?
I don't know. Casey's was depressing. I was like, oh, thanks for the reminder.
I was hoping it was game 6.
Yeah.
Could have been Game 7, too.
Could have been Game 7 this Sunday.
Now I'm being sad.
Come on. Now you're just killing the vibe here. Thanks, Casey. I think I'm actually probably going to go with probably Game 6 tomorrow between the Knicks and the Pacers.
Okay.
Knicks and Pacers. Just because it's an elimination game, Pacers have a chance to go to the NBA Finals. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Knicks and Pacers on this one.
Matt and Cary gets to go first. Casey and Wake Forest stand the line. You will have your chance. Matt, are you ready to pick a category? Matt.
What are the categories?
The categories are NFL, F is for. These are first names that begin with the letter F. NFL early June birthdays. NBA players who made movies. So these are all NBA players that at some point in time were in a movie. Or NHL hurricanes throughout history.
NBA players from movies.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
23.
Correct. Kevin Garnett, Boston Celtics.
11.
Incorrect. Jimmy Butler, Golden State Warriors.
23.
Incorrect. Kevin Garnett, Boston Celtics.
13.
Incorrect. Jimmy Butler, Golden State Warriors.
Pass.
Ray Allen, Miami Heat.
9.
Incorrect. Kevin Garnett, Boston Celtics.
31.
Incorrect. Jimmy Butler, Golden State.
I don't know. I'm terrible.
You got LeBron, so you got one. For those of you playing at home, we would have accepted 6 or 23 for LeBron. KG with Boston wore number 5. That's the number we were looking for. Jimmy Butler with Golden State, number 10. And Ray Allen with the Miami Heat wore number 34. That's what we were looking for. Stay on the line. We'll see if that's enough to get you the win. Ties do go to you by way of going first. And for those of you wondering at home, LeBron James, the second Space Jam, Kevin Garnett, the movie Uncut Gems, Jimmy Butler was in Office Christmas Party, and Ray Allen, of course, that's Jesus Shuttlesworth from He Got Game. Next up, next contestant, Casey in Wake Forest. Are you there?
Yep.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, F is for, players whose first name starts with the letter F, NFL early June babies, people born in early June, or NHL Hurricanes only?
I'll do NFL June.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. You need 2 for the win. You need at least 2 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Sam Darnold, Minnesota Vikings.
14.
Correct. Marquise Brown, Kansas City Chiefs.
10.
Incorrect. Tommy Tremble, Carolina Panthers.
21.
Incorrect. Marquise Brown, Kansas City Chiefs.
5.
Santana Moss, Washington Redskins.
89.
Correct. Roma Dunze, Chicago Bears.
1.
Incorrect. Tommy Tremble, Carolina Panthers.
29.
Incorrect. Did you
0?
What did you say for Marquise Brown?
5.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you said pass. I don't know why. It's not, so I was like, no, okay. And then I heard the bell. I was confused. Either way, you ended up getting 3. So you got the other one, which made it so that one was irrelevant. But you won. Congratulations. Since I got twisted up, I'll just read all the numbers for everybody at home. Darnold was 14. That's correct. Marquise Hollywood Brown with the Chiefs is 5. Tremble with the Panthers, 82. Santana Moss with Washington, 89. And Roma Dunze with the Bears, 15. If you were playing, those are the answers we were looking for. Congratulations, Casey. You are the winner. You get yourself a Sharky's gift card. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab that info.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Dennis, we have some time here. Do we have that Shawn Walker interview pulled up?
We do.
All right, perfect. Today we're exit interviews for the Carolina Hurricanes as they get ready to head into the offseason. Dennis caught up with Shawn Walker, player that I think endeared himself to the fans quite a bit this year, did deal with some injuries at the end and in the middle. Here is Dennis with Shawn Walker earlier today.
How was the shoulder feeling? I know it was kind of a tough blow for you. You played all 82 this season, and all of a sudden you're unfortunately having to sit upstairs with us.
Yeah, it's feeling not great right now, but it's making progress every day. So the hope was to be able to play in the finals if we would have got there.
I mentioned how you played all 82. I think, remember correctly, it's the first time in your whole career that you've done that. And this is not an easy system to do that just because of the style of play. I mean, how much of that is, lack of a better term, an accomplishment to play 82 this year?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, from the time I joined the league, I kind of had some injuries, was in and out of the lineup sometimes when I was in LA. So to be able to come here and play all 82 was something I'm pretty proud of. So, yeah, just unfortunate I got injured there in the playoffs, but be ready for next year.
Do you feel like the last couple months of the year you're really hitting your stride in the system?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it was really me changing much about the way I was playing, but it seemed like things were just starting to fall in place and maybe being a little more confident, making some more plays, and it just kind of resulted in some better statistics for me, I'd say, which was nice.
I could only imagine you play pretty much with Goss to spare all year, but I'm sure there's been situations even during this season when Shane was hurt where you kind of look to your left and you're like, wait a second, that's someone that's a little bit different. How hard is that, especially in the playoffs, seeing Dimitri have to play with someone else, Shane have to play with someone else? That's not an easy thing to adjust to during the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, especially like you said, we played pretty much almost 82 games with each other besides those couple injuries. So it is a little adjustment, but I think the guys did a great job just adjusting on the fly. I mean, even those last games, it seemed like everybody was kind of playing with everyone at some point. So it can be challenging for sure, but when you got a great group of guys, it can be a little easier for sure.
I don't know, you and I talked about before the season about your skating ability, how it fits well into this system. Do you feel like you got, again, just more comfortable as the season? Was it everything that you expected, I guess you could say?
Yeah, definitely. I think as the season went on, I got more comfortable just knowing kind of exactly what the game plan was. And yeah, I think my first half was pretty average, and then the second half kind of got going there. And again, I do feel like I was maybe using my legs a little more, and that's something that's going to help me going forward. So just got to stick with it.
Getting to this point in the postseason conference final, it's not an easy thing to do. I think that's the first time you've reached that in your career, and you have a bunch of young guys on the team, whether it's Jackson, Stanky, even Jarvis have done this once, if not multiple times already. Being a veteran, how much do you stress with these young guys? Like, hey, look, this is not an easy thing. This is not a regular thing that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously great for us that we got to this point, and we'll learn from it. But yeah, it definitely doesn't happen every year. My first 4 years in the league, we didn't even make the playoffs. So, it's special. And again, to be able to get to the conference finals only happens so much. So you really got to cherish those moments and not take them for granted. So next year, I hope we can be as successful and get to the same point and, make do on what we left out there this year.
So what's the next step for you? Like, everyone talks about elevating your game. Is there anything like in particular, something specific you want to work on?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall throughout the year I defended pretty well. I think my offense wasn't really at the level I would have hoped it to be this year after the year I had last year. So that's something I'll be thinking about over the summer. Just kind of where I can contribute a little bit more. And again, as long as my D is solid, then I would love to pitch in more offensively.
How have you seen the game since you got into the league? It seems like everything's gotten a lot faster. Everything's just gotten even more skill. We're seeing more teams actually run the same system that you guys are running here in Carolina. Just the man-on-man style, but pressure throughout the whole, all 200 feet across the ice. How difficult has it gotten just to play hockey in the NHL over since you started your career, 6-7 years ago?
Definitely. There's definitely no room out there, and I think you're seeing it year on year. The teams that are the most successful are the ones that are playing this kind of style, really pressuring, not giving guys time and space. I think the players in the league are just way too skilled now. So I think it's a great system. You really eliminate and take away a lot of chances that other teams are used to creating probably. So, I think the game's developed to this kind of stress game that Rados talks about, but you can see when you play it and you're all cohesive and on the same plan that it can be really easy realistically and get a lot of success out of it.
Once again, that was earlier today between our very own Dennis Cox and Shawn Walker. Dennis, you were catching up with all the guys that couldn't finish the season. You were hanging out by the training room. That's where you were grabbing.
I don't know. I caught up with Stankoven, so there's the one that was still holding over. You could tell that playing 82 games in an NHL season is difficult for anybody.
Yeah.
Just because, hey, you know what? I just need a day. Just to kind of let something kind of rest.
Climbing Everest is taxing.
It is.
Yes, an NHL season is pretty tough.
It is. So playing 82 games really is an accomplishment for guys. And Shawn Walker did that for the first time in his career. And just to have it go, 2 games into the conference finals, and as a teammate, when you look, that's why I asked him about, hey, you know what, you're the guy that you skated with all year now has to look over and go, oh, that's not Shawn over there. Or there are stretches during the season where Shawn had to look over wait, that's not Gossespierre over there. It changes how you think. It changes how you react because you're anticipating something being there because it's been there all year. Then all of a sudden it's not. Same thing with coaches. All right, Shawn. All right, not Shawn. All right, Slavin, you go. It's kind of the default. It's a tough situation for these guys to have to react and that they're on the fly.
Do you think Walker gets a chance to skate with Slavin darn near full time next year?
That's a really interesting question because I think it's a big time conversation of do you go get someone that can skate in your top pair with Jacob Slavin on that right side? Because it feels like Nikishin is destined to skate alongside Jaylen Chatfield.
Yes.
I think that will work quite well. And we know Gostisbehere and Walker, what those two bring on that pair. I think it's a great third pair. It's about as good as a third pair you're going to get in the entire league. For a lot of teams, that's a great second pair.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a major question. It's like, okay, if Scott Morrow's not ready to play yet, do you go sign someone for a year to skate alongside Slavin? That's a great question. I don't know. He might get some of that time. It wouldn't shock me if they want to just go ahead and keep the second and third pair the same and go after someone that can be in that top six. I'm sorry, that top pair along with Jacob Slavin. It would not surprise me, but we saw late in the season him skating with Jacob Slavin a lot.
No disrespect to Ghost. Walker's got to be like, come on. I
remember asking him, I forget what playoff game, I think it was against Washington, where he got bumped up and for most of the third period skating alongside Slavin. And I asked him how easy it was. He goes, basically, for paraphrase, it's Jacob Slavin. It's really easy. Yeah. When you're playing with him, everything's really easy.
Adjusting to the guy that does it all?
Yeah.
Yes, I can make that type of concession.
Oh, look, he's right where he needs to be.
Yeah, it is interesting. There's a lot of questions this offseason. That's one of them. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll make some picks for you coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
In a league dripping with tradition, the NHL's hottest coach right now, Paul Maurice, refuses to shake the hands of players because he wasn't on the ice. Come on, dude. Show them just a little teeny bit of respect. Imagine if you had seen two youth coaches not shaking hands. Parents had come out of the stands.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Support for The Fan comes from Paramount Pictures presenting Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
Every choice, every mission has led to this. Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in his most challenging mission yet.
I need you to trust me one last time.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. See the movie audiences are raving about in theaters and IMAX now. Don't miss your chance to see the movie of the summer.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Hey everybody, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. It is First Inning Friday on FanDuel. So if we're using words like first inning, you know we're leaning into America's pastime. Yes, indeed, baseball. Every week, FanDuel is hooking all customers up with a special offer you can use on early game Major League Baseball action. Put your baseball knowledge to the test from the very first swing with no runs and yes runs first inning bets. Will anyone score in the game's first frame? Check each team's season stats right on the FanDuel app and make your call. Every first inning Friday, you can expect a special reward like a profit boost, no sweat bet, or more. So make sure and come back every week to take another swing. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul, America's #1 sportsbook, and make every moment more. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
To Walker. Walker's got Roslovic with him. Walker holds, shoots, and scores! Shawn Walker's first postseason goal, and it is a monster! This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We have Overdrive coming up here in a few minutes, so there'll be more Canes talk and a little Panther talk, meaning Carolina Panther talk as well. But before we get to any of that, and before we send you to the weekend, we need to make our picks. Dennis, line them up. What are we picking today?
All right. This might be an easy one. Let's go and pick what's one that's going on right now. Stetson NC State baseball.
Is the score still 7-0?
It's still 7-0 in the going into the top of the fifth inning. Stetson ahead of NC State.
There's not many baseball teams out there that I would pick when they're staring already at down 7 zippy. So
yeah,
Stetson, I guess. What are Stetson? Stetson.
The Hatters.
Hatters. Sure. What is a Hatter? Like the Mad Hatter?
I guess so.
Alice in Wonderland?
I mean, Stetson is also a hat, like a cowboy hat.
Oh, like a cowboy hat. Okay,
yeah.
That makes more sense. I just never. A hatter, I guess, could be like a cobbler, like somebody that makes hats, maybe?
Maybe.
10-gallon cowboy hat?
You get a free bowl of soup with that hat.
There you go.
That looks good on you, though. Couldn't help myself. All right, let's actually go ahead and get into.
If you're going to do it, you got to go full Rodney.
Yeah. Looks good on you, though.
There you go.
All right, let's go ahead and go NBA Eastern Conference Final, Game 6 tomorrow night. Indiana Pacers have an opportunity to close things out, taking on the New York Knicks. Again, that game tomorrow is at.
It's in New York, right?
It is in New York.
Yep.
So my apologies on that. I'm sorry, I take that back. No, it's in Indiana.
You're right.
My apologies. It's in Indiana. Indiana at home, 3.5-point favorites in this one.
I think Indiana wins, so I'll pick Indiana, but I'm hoping we get a Game 7. That'd be electric.
These Game 7s are fun.
And they're really just competing for the right to go get smacked around by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's resting and getting ready for it. So I think if we're going to have excitement in a series, it's going to have to be the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm picking Pacers, but hoping not.
Pacers by how many?
If we're like, you know what? If I'm going to end the series, let's get some excitement there. By 1 at the buzzer.
There we go. Gosh, imagine a buzzer beater.
To send you to the finals?
Of course it'll be Halliburton, right?
It has to be.
And who else would it be?
Pascal Siakam.
I guess.
Miles Turner. TJ McConnell.
All right. Let's go to the golf course. Right there at
the Memorial.
In Ohio, the Memorial going on right now. Scotty Scheffler, 4 under through 2 rounds. Taylor, is that Noah Taylor?
Nick Taylor,
my apologies. 7 under. Akshay Bhatia, 5 under.
Ben Griffin tied at 7 under.
Yeah, who
UNC
wins?
guy.
Who wins?
If you remember, at the PGA, I casually just threw Scotty Scheffler out there going in. At this point, it was like he was 3 or 4 back, and he was just lurking. And during Make Our Picks, you're like, who's going to win? I was like, Scotty Scheffler. He's within striking distance. Guess what? Scotty Scheffler. He's within striking distance. He's the best golfer on the planet right now. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. So Scotty Scheffler's going to win. He's 3 back, but Nick Taylor, Ben Griffin, as much as we like Ben Griffin as a former Carolina Tar Heel, I don't know if they're ready to hear footsteps of Scotty Scheffler coming their way on the weekend and to hold that one off. So Scotty gets the win.
All right, let's go along with some college baseball taking place. I know we did the NC State game earlier today, but some interesting and some fun matches we have maybe going on here as well, involving teams either in the Carolinas or in obviously the state of North Carolina and the ACC. For example, Duke as the home team taking on Oklahoma State down to the Athens region in Georgia. Duke actually favored on the money line, minus 135.
I have to be honest here. I have not been keeping up with college baseball the way that I should.
I just need a pick.
Duke. Why? Because they're favored. Who are they playing? It's in Athens, I know, but
Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah, and they're the home team.
Yeah,
they're close, right? That's another old school. A couple references to my dad today on a couple references to my dad's bracket in our family pool. When he doesn't know, he does the map quest, right? He goes and finds out who is playing closer to home, and he thinks that matters. So Athens has to be closer to here than Oklahoma. So home team, Duke wins.
All right, let's actually, speaking of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners taking on Nebraska. That first pitch is scheduled for 7:30 in Chapel Hill, because the winner of that game takes on UNC baseball in the winner's bracket tomorrow. Nebraska, the Fighting Matt Rules, taking on Oklahoma and the Bob Stoops.
I spent 3 years of my career in central Nebraska working for a Nebraska Cornhuskers small town affiliate radio station, where I've developed an affinity for the Huskers. Baseball, yes. Omaha, obviously. When Nebraska gets to Omaha, it's electric, because Omaha's electric anyway. So yeah, give me the Cornhuskers. All about the Cornhuskers. Let's go Big Red.
All right, and finally, most importantly, it is the opening weekend of the Premier Lacrosse League. Tim.
Okay.
Up in New York this weekend in Albany. Actually, first game taking place here in about 6 minutes, Tim. The New York Atlas at home taking on our Carolina Chaos. Our Chaos.
Yeah. I apologize. Earlier today I said I don't follow college baseball. Compared to professional lacrosse, I do pay a ton of attention to college baseball. Chaos, because they have a good goalie. And they have good defensemen.
Yeah.
And they have good long stick middies.
They do have a couple goalies.
And they have good attack.
They do.
And they have good other positions.
Mm-hmm. Midfielders.
And they drafted the guy that was a club lacrosse player last year.
But hey, he was an All-American at Georgetown before that, so that helps.
But he played club lacrosse last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they win.
Okay, they beat the Atlas.
They beat the Atlas. What's good? Like by 4? Is that good?
That's good.
All right, they win by 4.
Hey, if it helps, you can actually bet on those games.
Can you?
Yeah.
That would make me more interested.
Yeah, you absolutely can bet on the PLL. By the way, the Chaos.
Give us the pick then. Give us something real, because everything I just said was completely grabbed out of thin air.
Atlas are 2.5 goal favorites. Again, they're playing at home. But give me the Chaos. Give me the points. I'll take the points. I'll take them on the money line at plus 185. Again, goaltending, the big difference there. Also, later on tonight, we have the Denver Outlaws taking on the California Redwoods.
California Redwoods is a good nickname.
I know.
That's a good team name. Give me the Redwoods.
Outlaws.
They seem sturdy.
Outlaws favored by 1.5 goals.
Now give me the Redwoods on the money line.
Yeah.
Is their logo just like a tree
with a bear.
trunk?
It's a bear.
Oh, they got a bear. Okay, that works. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. Overdrive up next. We're talking Canes to start things off. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy it. Less stressful without, playoff hockey to worry about. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why, if you're Giannis, would you sign up for a gap year with the Boston Celtics? Because the Jason Tatum injury is what looms over all of this. Why would you sign up for that if you're Giannis and give up a year in your prime? If I'm Giannis and I'm going to leave Milwaukee, I'm going to a place that gives me a chance to win a title next season.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military